Kearney, also known as Turtle Boy.
He is a senior editor for Turtle Boy Daily News.
I'm a big fan.
We've broken hundreds of stories that the mainstream media won't touch.
Some blogger in Massachusetts who's getting to the bottom of this better than anybody.
Why is it Turtle Boy that is covering such important issues? Where is the rest of the media?
You need to not say that you were going to take my baby out of revenge and make him a transgender baby.
Stop it.
Don't you want to ask some questions? I know you do.
I do. I know.
People don't like the things that I say and want me to stop saying them, but I won't. I'm never going to stop. These are the kind of stories that must be told.
I'll call this Bang Bang. Seriously? I will fuck you up. I will beat your ass. I will fuck you up. Pull up, bitch. I will fuck you up. I will beat your ass. I will fuck you up.
Objection. Objection.
I will fuck you up. KO. Bang bang. I will fuck you up. You're a bitch, bro. I will fuck you up. I will beat your ass. I will fuck you up. Right?
Yeah.
The bang bang, the bang bang, pull up. The bang bang, the bang bang, pull up. Right?
Yeah.
The bang bang, the bang bang, pull up. The bang bang, the bang bang.
Mr. Lally, your next witness, please.
Yes, Your Honor, the Commonwealth will call Trooper Michael Proctor to the stand. Please state your name and spell your last name for the jury.
Michael Proctor, 𝗺𝗄𝗆.
You're a bitch, bro. I will fuck you up. I will beat your ass. I will fuck you up.
I'm going to allow it.
I will fuck you up. I will beat your ass. I will fuck you up.
I'm going to allow it.
And I will not be intimidated. I will not be silenced. And we will continue on our journey for justice for John O'Keefe and for Karen Reed.
Tick, tick, boom. Noise. Go, baby, we bringing out toys. Boys, chopper be singing, should be on the voice. Bang, bang, we gon' ride out. Gang, gang, we don't die out. Want it like this, ain't no timeouts. Tell me who really gon' find out.
We be disturbing the peace. Working, we serving the streets.
Karen Reed has supporters who've shown up in large numbers.
Tick, tick, boom.
Hard body, and not scaring nobody. You make me resort to wildin'. You must be blind by the diamonds. I didn't want it to be this way, but y'all won't need to try this, so it's no way around it. You the loudest one, it's going quiet. We be disturbing the peace. Working, we serving the streets. About to go ahead, going beast. Bang, bang, leave you sleep.
This is the first time I think I've ever seen this. An outpouring of support for someone accused of murdering a Boston police officer. Unbelievable situation. Never seen anything like it.
Tick, tick, boom.
You can't stop me, so who gon' stop me? You can't stop me, so who gon' stop me? You can't stop me, so who gon' stop me? You can't stop me, so who gon' stop me?
We be disturbing the peace. Working, we serving the streets. About to go ahead, going beast. Bang, bang, leave you sleep.
Boom. What's up, turtle people? How's everyone doing out there? Good? Good? Excellent. Welcome to the live show, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Tuesday. My name is Aidan Kearney. My Facebook caricature, my nom de plume is Clarence Woods Emerson. You can call me on there, follow me on there, join me. Old school turtle riders call me Uncle Turtle Boy. Newer people, I prefer doctor, because if Joe Biden's a doctor, then I'm a doctor too. And if Joseph Paul gets to be a doctor and Bukaki gets to be a doctor, then I'm a doctor too. So, or some people lately have been known to call me daddy. I find that acceptable. It's certainly not required, because I know it could be a little bit weird, a little bit odd, but I accept it. It's, if you want to call me that, I don't care what you call me. Just be here every Tuesday and Saturday night at 9 p.m. sharp, and make sure you smash that subscribe button. I think we just passed 82,000 subs. Another new whatever record we passed. We're getting on our way to 100,000 on Twitter. I'm at Dr. Turtle Boy. We're like getting close to 100 there too. I think we're like 83.4 or 5, something like that. Follow us on everything, even on Facebook. They wouldn't let us stay on Facebook for so long. Now we're killing it on Facebook. We're up to like 100 and we're up to like 53,000 followers on Facebook. Turtle Boy, just follow us everywhere, man. They didn't see it anyway. So yeah, what else was I gonna say? Okay, yeah, then we're good. All right, yeah. If anybody wants to have their turtle chats read out loud to the class, your messages read out loud, you can't do super chats on here. We're banned. We can't take your money. I had the wrong opinions about the vaccine mandate a couple years ago, and they said I can't take money from you people anymore, which is good because the videos don't come with ads, so that's good. The website does, so I get ad free if I were you. I would join Turtle Club. It's a good investment, but because we can't do that, we had to build our own platform. It's called Turtle Chat. So if you click at the link at the top, it should be linked at the top of the comments. There it is. Or if you cash at me $, Uncle Turtle Boy, either one is acceptable. Then you can donate whatever amount of money you want, and you get to write a nice little message, and I'll get that message and I'll read it out loud to the class. Because of the volume of messages that we come in, a lot of people like to send $1, right? And like have like a paragraph. I can't do it. It just interrupts the show. So we got to do $5 minimums. All right. $5. And I will read your message out loud to the class, whatever you want to do. You can do more than that. Obviously it's all good. But let me read some right now. We have here, Mike GSD sends $10 and says, F Amy O, the real life Mrs. Kravitz, always in everyone's business, single white females. Okay, Mike GSD. Thank you. Mark sends $20 and says, have you bought Caitlin and Tristan an engagement gift yet? Can I suggest a clock? Tristan wouldn't know what to do with that. He wouldn't know what to do. He doesn't do time. Julie sends $5 and says, did the defense present the idea that high speed of Karen Reed's vehicle was due to tires spinning in snow? I don't know if they've done that, but I was thinking the same thing. A lot of people were pointing out how in Dayton, they had to the tires were spinning pretty fast. I mean, there's no way, dude. I'm telling you. I don't care what that thing says. Karen Reed did not go 24 miles an hour in reverse. You know how I know that? Because no one's ever done that. That's insane. 24 miles an hour in reverse. Try it. Just try it sometime. You will feel like you're dying. Like there's no other way to describe it. You will feel like you're on a roller coaster ride. She did that nowhere. Like nowhere did she ever hit 24 miles an hour in reverse. I don't care what that stupid piece of paper that this joke cop Joseph Paul pulled out of his ass. It means nothing to me. Absolutely nothing. I did try it. I got to 19. No more. I could not do any faster if I wanted to. No way. Anyway, so thank you for that one. Let's see. Eliza, this was yesterday, sent $200. This was yesterday, though. She says, Daddy, say my name, Dr. Eliza 𝗵𝗆𝗆, writing from the French Riviera. Your ambition motivated me in my own lawsuit against the great 𝗫𝗄𝗏 Business School. Thank you. My time to fuck. Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. That's interesting. Do we have any more here before we do cash apps? No, we got a couple cash apps to bang out here. I have, let's see. First one is 𝗵𝗲𝗺𝗍13 sends $25 and goes 1 of 50 to get read last time. And you missed it. Oh, 1 of 50 to get read last time and you missed it. Oh no, she wrote. Okay. Okay, thank you, 𝗵𝗲𝗍. I appreciate that. This was Sunday. I got one from Tracy. It says, TB chat got messed up. So sorry. Okay, thank you, Tracy. Lisa sent $10 and said, blessed mom from Texas. Stay you, Aidan. Texas is with you. The great state of Texas. Thank you, Lisa. We also have here, Stephanie sent $15 last night and said, get a beer on me. Go Celtics. Free Karen Reed. How awesome was last night, guys? If you enjoyed it with me, it was dope. It was a great way to win a championship. Stress-free. Awesome at home. Like, it was great. Most dominant run I've ever seen. That's how we do it. Maggie sends $5 and says, why didn't the defense have a crash expert sooner? Good question. I don't know where this Dr. Russell person came from sooner, and we can get into that. Why they didn't get her sooner, I don't know. Short answer. If you subscribe to Melanie Little's channel, which you all should, you would see in February when I was in the can, she had a guy named Garrett Wing on her program who is a dog bite expert, and he said unequivocally, no doubt about it, those are dog bites. So I'm like, well, I don't know why they just didn't hire that guy. That guy was awesome. Like, Garrett Wing is awesome. Get him on. I got to listen to that guy talk about dog bites all day. Get him on. So Jane sends $20 and says, Bev, better do the right thing and allow these witnesses. I'll tell you one thing. She allows those witnesses. This is game over. It's already game over, but that's just like, come on. It's getting ridiculous. Brianna sends $25 and says, free Karen, hashtag free Karen Reed. Thank you for the truth and the entertainment. And thank you. And thank you to whoever bought me dinner tonight and my family. Like, it blows me away when that happens. This is like the third time it's happened. It's crazy. Like, I just go somewhere and go out with my kids and, just eat food, and then time to pay the check and the waiter comes over. It's like, it's paid for. And I'm like, what? Who? And I want to thank them, obviously. And then they won't say. They're like, no, they don't want to say. I'm like, what about the tip? Can I tip you? No, that's paid for too. So I just want to say thank you to whoever did that at Quinn's tonight. That was really generous of you. And, it happens. It's just like, explaining this to the kids, like, what happened. It's like, yeah, like, what they do that because I tell them about Karen Reed, and they're like, oh yeah, Karen Reed. They're like, they can't follow it that much. Yeah. Oh yeah. So, so she's, in a nutshell, she had a boyfriend. He was a police officer and he died, and they said that she killed him, but she didn't kill him. And really it was somebody, these other bad guys that did it. And then they made it look like she did it, but she didn't do it. And now they want to put her in jail for that. And I am trying to stop it. So I showed that she didn't do it. And that's why people buy me food. That's just like that. Cause it's weird. Like, when it's just like, wait, why are people paying for our food? And that's the best I can come up with, in a nutshell, the kids. I'm like, that's it. And they're like, so why? And they said, I'm explaining, I got briefly into the taillight thing today. I said, yeah, they said, how did she say she did it? Oh, they said that she was going to run her over with the car. Did she? No, I didn't. She would never. No, why would she do that if that's her boyfriend? She loves him. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, no, you wouldn't do that. You wouldn't do that at all. And so I'm like, okay. Well, so then they made it look like it was her they wanted to make it look like she hit him with the car. So when the bad policeman, because there's mostly good policemen, and like in your town, I don't want them to think the cops are bad, because the cops are like, there's police, school resource officers. We're not going down that road. We're fuck the police. We're not doing that. So I want them to be able to trust police. And honestly, my private conversations I've had with members of the Holden Police Department, they're all like, fuck those guys. You know, like every local town cop I've ever met has been like, fuck those guys. You know, state police different, but every local one understands what's going on here. And so I tell them that about, you know, like there's a bad policeman, and then they took her car and they broke the taillight, and then they put the taillight next to him, and they made it look like she hit him with the car, but she didn't really hit him. And they said, well, why doesn't somebody stop them? It's just like, why do they let them do that? And I said, that's what I'm here for. That's why people are buying me dinner. Okay. Cause I'm trying to stop it. I don't know how else to explain it. That's Karen Reed's story in a nutshell. Right. So anyway, these are good questions though. These are like inquisitive, solid questions that are being asked here, by these children. So, okay. Anyway, so yeah, there's that. Let me see if we have any more turtle chats we can bang out here. Justin sends $10, says, are Matt McCabe's teeth real or are they veneers? I don't know about his teeth, but the titties are real and they are fantastic. Fantastic. Thank you. Jen sends $10 and says, thank you so much for all you do, doctor. Do you think Auntie Bev will allow the defense's witnesses, free Karen Reed, free Turtle Boy? That's a great question. $1 million question. I put it up in my poll today, and it's like 57% said no just because of her attitude. But then at the end, she said something to the witness, and she doesn't like Alan Jackson, but I think she likes the doctor. Like, you can dislike Alan Jackson all you want, but the doctor is very charming. And like in her, you know, there's an old lady, like a nice old lady who's obviously wicked smart and knows what she's talking about. And is like, how can she rule against this? Like, it's crazy. So the second two, she has to let on. Like, no, those two guys, come on, give me a break. And we'll explain why. But the first one, you know, I would hope so. I would hope so. That's really messed up. And we'll get into that tonight. Why that's so messed up if they don't. Another Cash App here from Chris sends, let's see. Mama She sends $5.50, says, should proofread, but I sent 50 the other day. Well, thank you, Mama She. Chris C sends $5 and says, I love how Yannetti blocked the death stare to Karen. He blocks oh, right. He kind of shields Karen. The Paul O'Keefe death stare, which, by the way, Paul, brother, she ain't scared of you, dude. She's not scared of you, man. I don't know what you're trying to prove over there. You look like a douche. I mean, you really look like a douche when you walk in with Chris Albert and Jen McCabe. That's like, talk about getting cuckolded. That's worse than getting cuckolded. Like, Chris Albert was less disgraced when he let some cop plow his wife. Like, you, my friend, you are walking into court with the people who done murdered your brother and then started a support group for your mother called Peggy's Angels. And again, I've been down the O'Keefe thing before. My thoughts on them. People are like, oh, Paul's really coming around. No, he's not. Paul's never coming around. And his mother's definitely really never coming around. And I don't give a shit if they do. I really don't. I don't give a shit about like them at all. I just don't. I don't. Because I don't like them. I just don't like them. You're allowed to not like people. They're douchebags to me. They brought the fake victim to court with them. They invited her to court to kick me out. Like, they're douchebags. I don't like them. Period. They're horrible to Karen Reed too. They're like wicked rude and vindictive. Like, what's to like? What's to like about them? Like, they're every opportunity is out there to see the truth here, and they're closing their eyes to it. And don't tell all you mean to the family. Nope. There's plenty members of the Rizzitano family, actually. That's Peggy's side, who have messaged me and told me how much they hate the other members of the Rizzitano family. And they've thanked me for my work doing this. Like, fuck the other ones. So, you know, so like plenty of members of the family are cool with me, and I'm fighting for justice for them. If the others don't want the justice, then that's fine. But we're going to get it either way. So there's that. Thank you, Chris. Let's see. Nicole or Nina sent $10 and says, can you say done? The prosecution is done. Oh, they've been done. Yeah, I said it was done during the Dighton police testimony. Done. Done. Over. Nicole sends $9 and says, my mom was C.O. Langley's nanny. Free Karen Reed and free Turtle Boy. Oh, C.O. Langley. Yeah, he was the bodybuilder, right? He was the big guy in the can. He was my babysitter occasionally. That's what I called the COs who had to watch me work out by myself for like an hour. And then they call, you're my babysitter tonight? Yep. And they'd be on babysitter duty. So, okay, cool. Thank you very much, Nicole. Ashley sends 15 and says, nothing wrong with the cuckolding lifestyle. I wouldn't mind as long as I'm not the one being cuckolded, as long as I'm doing the cuckolding like that. I don't want to be the guy in the corner. I don't want to be that guy. That doesn't sound enviable, but some people are into it, I guess. I mean, yeah, for cuckolding to work, somebody's got to play that role, right? Or else it's just not going to work. You know, you got to have somebody play both roles. So it is what it is. But anyway, I'll keep refreshing those throughout the show. If you want to donate, have your message read out loud, we can do it that way. Okay, cool. So, how many people we got watching? Okay, we got 4,600 over here on YouTube. That's great to see. Oh, I think we're competing with the Young Jerk still on. We'll probably get their overflow later on because they got Mark Betterow on. He's a big draw these days, and rightfully so. He's fantastic. He's must listen to audio when it comes to analyzing this shit. But I loved having him on Saturday. It was a record-setting show. Obviously, we got over 100,000 people watch the show, and for good reason. So, but I ran out of time. I couldn't get to the Proctor stuff, and I'd like to get to some of the Proctor stuff tonight, if possible. So let's just jump right into it. Let's start with the disaster that was Joseph Paul the other day, shall we? All right. And just FYI, at some point, I'm going to have to come. My daughter's going to come in here and want me to tuck her in. So I got to do that. There's going to be a brief pause. So we'll be okay. Let's play this.
And B is 2 or both.
All right.
Correct?
Yeah.
Following
The physical exemplar. Now.
All right. So this guy, when they brought this guy on Friday, the trolls were like, game over. Oh, this guy's an expert. He's seen so many crashes. Look at his bald head. He knows what he's talking about. As David United said, wait for us. Just wait for us. There's always more. Whenever they think they got something, they actually don't. They're clinging on to nothing, man. So let's listen to, we're going to skip the Lally part, obviously, and jump right into the fucking with Alan Jackson.
Now, sir, with respect, that's deals with to the back effective anyway speed prior to exemplar. So
in the scientific discipline of mathematics.
I do not.
You hold any degrees in the scientific discipline of physics?
I do not.
Hold any degrees in the scientific discipline of biomechanics?
No.
How about in engineering?
No.
How about in kinematics?
No.
The highest degree that you do hold, sir?
I have an associate's degree.
In what?
Administration of justice.
You mentioned kinematics on Friday. Do you hold any certificates in the specific area of kinematics?
Yes, it's covered in the basic crash investigation classes.
Okay, so you took a class, in other words, correct?
Multiple classes.
Multiple classes. Kinematics is, right?
Multiple classes.
About that on Friday.
Yes.
Define kinematics, George.
It deals with the aspect of motion.
It's a subfield of what broader field?
Kinematics.
Kinematics is a subfield of what broader discipline of science?
I love how this is like a quiz.
I'm not sure.
A quiz.
Physics, correct?
Yes.
It describes how points and objects, systems of objects, how they move, and how the rate they move and the rate of their velocity, correct?
It deals with emotions.
What's that called? The rate of velocity. What's another word for that?
Acceleration.
The rate of velocity?
Acceleration. I knew this one.
It deals with the
7th grade
motion. It deals with forward and also deals with speed. It deals with travel and speed.
No,
if something's moving, it also has a speed to it.
Right. The word you're looking for is acceleration.
Yes. Yes.
Sure.
Yeah, that's
what role
right.
does acceleration play in the field of kinematics?
What role does acceleration play in kinematics?
Yeah, if you ask the question,
talks about, like you just said, it talks about the speed and talks about motion.
Is kinematics also known as the geometry of motion? Is that correct?
I have not heard that.
Never heard that. What's the difference between constrained and unconstrained motion?
Constrained and unconstrained motion?
Yeah.
That's what I asked.
Constrained motion.
I love when this is like the kid that didn't read his book and had to do his book report to the class. It's so great to watch this. This is like 7th grade, 8th grade physics, whatever science that you're taking. Acceleration. Like I knew that one, but the kinematics, I didn't know that one. But I'm also not an expert who testifies in murder trials and says she did it. I don't put people away for life based on my expertise. This guy is supposed to. And he comes in here and he's like, and he doesn't know the answer whenever he asks the question again. When he says, so what is kinematics? Kinematics? Yeah, motherfucker. That's what I just asked. What's kinematics? Kinematics is, yeah, you don't know it, dude.
I can't recollect at the moment.
Constrained motion is motion on a predetermined path.
He's so nervous.
Yes.
Unconstrained motion is what?
When doing that predetermined path?
Free movement, right?
Correct.
You can remember that from your class?
For the most part, you don't go that constrained and unconstrained.
Constrained, unconstrained, not restrained.
Sorry, unconstrained. Yes.
Kinematics uses algebraic formula to model these motions, right? The motions of these points, systems of points, correct?
Yes.
And it includes concepts like displacement and speed, velocity, distance,
All right.
acceleration, which we talked about, correct?
So we're going to fast forward
When
past the
first,
quiz.
They might slow down by 0.5 mile an hour, right?
It's when I say when it's consistent, it's because
What you were told was his final resting place, and what you were told was the debris field. And you indicated that the furthermost piece of debris would basically be the area, right?
it's within that line. I didn't say that is the area impact where the furthermost piece of evidence is.
Right.
It's just the linear, like you said earlier, it's that linear. We're going that path. That's the path that he traveled post impact with the vehicle.
And that is on which that fact that you stated is on which what you. Terrible question. That's the basis for your opinion of where the area of impact was, correct?
Yes.
Let's take a look at exhibit, with court's permission, 587. It's your diagram 3. If I may approach on this verb.
Okay.
All right, so here's the diagram. I love this guy's diagram. It's like a child made this. Now he got this from Gallagher and Proctor. He didn't go to the scene. He just drew this up. So he's like, well, okay. So this is the point of impact, right? Is the X, and there's the fire hydrant, and then there's a red plastic, a clear plastic. Okay, so this is where all this stuff was found. Where's the shoe? Wasn't the shoe on the curb? What is going on here? And then the glass cup is over here. Okay, so he's right next to the cup. There's the flagpole. Where's the phone? Don't worry, he's got answers to all this stuff, though. He's got answers to everything.
Magnify the area, just look arrow.
So here's one problem. There's a piece of glass there.
Yes, I do.
Right underneath.
A Pleven diagram.
Correct.
What does that look like to you?
Piece of plastic.
It's debris, right?
Correct.
We go back with the court's permission to exhibit 587.
Okay.
Diagram 3. Just the fire hydrant?
Yes.
Fire hydrant's right there, correct?
Correct.
That's another, according to your scale, that's probably 30 feet from the pedestrian's final rest, correct?
Yeah, that's about right.
That is the furthermost in this diagram, the furthermost piece of debris on the diagram, correct?
Correct.
So now, your testimony changed that this, in fact, is the area of impact.
No.
Why not?
Because it's just a piece of debris. I'm talking about the path. You follow the path of the debris field. Debris can move and change.
The debris doesn't fly backward, does it?
I'm saying you pointed to like just the fire hydrant as the area impact where the debris, where that one piece of plastic was, saying that's the area impact is right next to the fire hydrant.
Oh, right.
Are you asking me a question?
Yeah, that's what you said, right?
I'm asking you.
I'm making sure I'm understanding what you're saying so I can answer the right.
Ask the question again, Mr. Jackson.
In fact, you indicated on Friday that your analysis of the area of impact.
So it's like you said earlier with the linear equation. I mean, it might have moved it over more, but it's the debris, the start of that debris, the one that is. I can't say that's really the point of area impact, or it says after that.
Trooper, we were all here on Friday.
Trooper,
Okay.
Trooper.
It's exactly what you said in the questioning by Mr. Lally, wasn't it?
Objection.
Sustained.
Didn't you say on Friday that you determined the area of impact for Mr. O'Keefe? The point of impact was red plastic B because that was the furthermost piece of debris you were aware of from the final point of rest from Mr. O'Keefe's body. Isn't that what you said?
I don't believe that's exactly. I said the area impact is probably along the roadway after that point. I mean, like before it.
No.
Throughout
Oh,
the walk
okay.
towards him.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I keep doing that. I think you're done. Are you done?
I am done now.
I think you're done.
Now
Are you
you're
done?
aware that there's a piece of debris, looks like taillight material, right under the fire hydrant, correct?
Correct.
If the area impact, which you indicated on Friday, was where this red plastic B is, you would be wrong. Right? Your analysis would be flawed.
No, because that's not what I said. I said it's along the roadway. It's going to be after that point.
Are you now indicating that that's the area of impact where John O'Keefe's body was struck?
Objection.
Sustained.
He just makes shit up as he goes along.
Let's take a look at exhibit report permission 279.
Okay.
Okay, a plastic. You see it?
Yes.
Okay.
Can you describe it for me? Specifically, what does that look like?
It looks like clear plastic
Yes,
with a
good
little
job.
red and
Good job.
black on the top part.
You got that
Maybe
one
a
right.
triangular shape, is that fair?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Now, if we could go back to
Good job. Good
report
job.
permission,
You got that
exhibit
one right.
492,
Okay.
and highlighted just above the ruler.
There it is.
How would you describe that piece of material?
It looks like the same piece.
Does that, based on that, does that appear to be part of the taillight material that was found at the scene?
Correct.
Okay. Now, based on that, are you now suggesting if we could go with the court's permission, if we could go back to 587? I'll stop jumping around just a second. I think we
Okay.
just get back to 587.
That's crazy that
Oh,
someone
sorry,
put that there.
All right, let's highlight it. Same piece.
Yes.
Okay. Based on that, does that change your opinion? Is that now the fire hydrant now the point of impact?
No.
Where's the point of impact now?
It's along the roadway. I don't know the exact point of impact. Can I?
So you don't know the area of impact.
I said the area impact is along the roadway after the debris. I mean, only thing would change. Only thing would change is maybe it's a little further away. But
This guy
besides
is
that,
so-
it's a linear field. I'm not talking about like one point. You kind of follow the middle of the debris field, and that should be.
This guy's just so unsure of himself, and I just don't feel bad for him at all because he's participating in pure evil. Like don't feel bad for this guy. He's a piece of shit. They're all assholes. Like all of these people suck. Like they all suck. They're all participating in something evil, and all of them have the opportunity to just say, "No, this is bullshit. I'm not going along with this." But they're not. They're like, if these people were alive in 1939 Germany or whatever, they would go along with everything. Like human nature has showed us that people are weak. People are weak, and these guys are particularly weak. They will go along with anything because they like their jobs, because they all make like $150,000, $200,000 a year to do nothing. You know, let's face it, they're not on the streets getting shot or anything like that. This dude sits in an office and, puts car crashes together, draws diagrams, he sucks off the taxpayers' titties. And, don't feel bad for this guy. This guy is choosing to do this job. He's just as bad as the rest of them. Don't feel bad about this guy for a second. He sucks. If I was his mother, I would be ashamed of him. Ashamed. I would be disgracing the family, this guy. Get him out of here. Don't feel bad for him, Mary.
The path.
Well, if the point of impact is along the roadway, where along the roadway, if you can show the jurors where along the roadway in your expert opinion was the point of impact.
It should be within, if you follow from pedestrians, find rest here, just kind of follow back.
All right, if I have my spotlight, if I leave it right there, is that about where the middle of the spotlight, about where you believe the area of impact is?
It's within, I guess you can say it's within that area. I don't know. Definitely there's nothing on the roadway that has a definitive point that says this is the area impact right here.
Point me to within an area of 5 feet or so.
So what I'm trying to say is, so we follow the linear path back.
Yeah, okay.
Around to the back of the vehicle. So if we follow back to here, that could be a possible area impact.
Toward the lower part of diagram 3.
It's
correct.
You'd use your circle almost to kind of be a good area around.
Yeah.
Switch. Can't see it.
All right, so he checks.
So, I mean, it could be within 30 feet because it's also on my scale, this 2 and 3 is 50 feet from each other.
How much?
50.
Okay. 50.
50.
So would you agree that from
30 feet.
this X down here,
30 feet.
pedestrians find rest, that's probably a good 35, 40 feet.
I mean, I could try to use the scale, but it's me as a scale.
If you wouldn't mind.
He gets the scale out. Okay, gets the scale out.
Yes,
Would you like a piece of paper? And he says, yes, please.
Okay.
Can I have a piece of paper? He says, look at him. Look at him. Get the paper. Look at him. Look at him. Look at him. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, okay. Let me do my math.
I got one. Thank you.
I got one. Thank you. Yep. Okay. This is embarrassing. Like, he's making him do math in front of the class. This is humiliating. This is awesome. This is great. Look at him. Look at him. Look at him do his math. Carry the 1. Yep. Okay. Yep. Let me see. Remainder 7. Okay. Is that a prime number?
Still around. It's approximately 30 feet.
30 feet. 30 feet. 30 feet. Okay. You could just look at it and estimate that.
Can you estimate 30 feet in here?
Can I estimate?
Can you point to a place in the courtroom that looks like 30 feet from you?
Objection.
No.
No.
Next question.
No, she
Point of the
says.
diagram of the diagram.
Like, that's wild. No. In My Cousin Vinny, they let him do it. He brought the freaking tape measure out. Remember that? How many fingers am I holding up? Maybe it's time for some thicker glasses there. Maybe. Yeah.
Distances.
In this courtroom? No.
You indicated just now, and then I'm finished with this. Thank you. Thanks. You indicated just now, in answer to Mr. Lally's last couple of questions, that in your expert opinion, when the SUV struck the pedestrian, John O'Keefe, he was, quote, projected forward and to the left, to the front yard to his final place of rest.
Yes.
So your expert testimony is that John O'Keefe was hit with the SUV and flew 30 feet.
Projected mean like he.
First of all, look at Jackie Dougal. Just look at her. Why does she look like that? I can't, like, why does she, what are these pants? She came dressed like a blueberry with the neck, with the face and the hair. It's just like, they look so demented on that side. And here's, somebody called her Ginny Sack. There's Ginny 𝗃. She's on the Atkins diet. Ginny 𝗃 on the Atkins diet. The implication was that she's so fat that a 95-pound mole could be on her ass. Anyway.
Sounds like he flew all the way there. He was projected in that way. He got pushed forward in that direction.
Okay, he flew.
Which he was rendered incapacitated, landed there, that's sort of fly there, right? Didn't walk there.
I mean, was he definitely flying like literally off the ground the entire time? Or
Well, you tell me, you're the expert.
I mean, he got, when we say projected, we mean he gets projected and they usually have a landing phase and they land and they either roll or tumble to final rest.
Okay, how far do you think he landed? How far was it until he landed?
So he
About 30
tumbled.
feet.
By the way, look at Peggy O'Keefe, like rolling her eyes, like, in case you're inclined to feel bad for this woman, please don't. Please don't. She does not give a shit about justice for her son. She just doesn't, man. She's not there for that. She's there to lynch Karen Reed. Like, sorry. It's not cool. She's sitting there rolling her eyes, playing it up for the jury. She doesn't give a shit about justice. If she gave a shit about her son and actually wanted justice for her son, she'd be listening to this shit because this is insane. This is your son. They're acting like he's Superman, like he flew 30 feet. Come on, Peggy. Wake up, will you? Wake up.
No, there's no indication of where his exact landing spot was.
Is there any evidence whatsoever that he landed and rolled?
And there was no evidence that he landed or rolled. Rolled.
According to you, the evidence that you have in front of you is that you get hit, fly 30 feet, land where he ended up in his final rest, right?
Objection.
Sustained. Ask it differently.
Based on your expert opinion, you believe that he was projected through the air to his final rest place.
That's not what I'm saying.
But you said there's no evidence that he rolled.
And there's no evidence that he flew through the air either.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Exactly.
Sustained.
I love that. There's no evidence. I'm going to play that one more time because that was awesome.
There's no evidence that he rolled.
Objection.
Sustained. Ask it differently.
Based on your expert opinion, you believe that he was projected through the air to his final rest place.
That's not what I'm saying.
But you said there's no evidence that he rolled.
And there's no evidence that he flew through the air either.
Exactly.
Exactly. Right? Exactly.
Objection.
Sustained.
There's no evidence that he flew through the air because you're just making this stuff up, bro. Exactly. Exactly. I mean, just look at the faces they're making. Like, they hate that he's so effective, dude.
You said on Friday that in your experience, people tend to lose objects that are not strapped to them. Is that right?
Yes.
In other words, get hit by something, car, truck, bus, whatever, train, and if you have something in your hand, boom, you lose
There
your
we
job.
go.
It's not strapped to you, correct?
Correct.
How do you suppose that Mr. O'Keefe, in your opinion, held on to that glass cup that was found right next to him over the course of 30 feet being projected?
Objection.
I'll allow it. Do you have a theory on that?
I don't know. I mean, it just could have been with him the whole way.
This is great.
I don't know. I wasn't there, so I don't know how the glass stayed with his body and went with him to the final rest.
So it's just common sense. You have to believe it. It was in his hand. He held on to it the entire time he was being projected. Right?
It's possibly, it could have been his hand. It could have been tucked next to his clothing. Did
you say tucked in?
I mean, like, could have been next to his body. So when he projected, made the glass was with his body as it was also flying. So there's a lot of reasons why the glass also got projected with the body.
So he's flying again. A minute ago, he was rolling. Like, first he hit us and he rolls. And now he's flying again. So he that's such a great question. So he held on to the glass the whole time while he's flying. Like, somehow he just like, no, that's like a 𝗵𝗲 story. Like the addiction to this glass. Can't let go of the glass. Oh no. Because I'm telling you, the original plan with the glass, they planted that glass because they wanted to make it seem like she bopped him in the head with it. They couldn't take into account that she was going to have a busted taillight, that she was going to, in that cracker taillight backing out into the driveway. Like, what luck, So they switched it up, but then the glass doesn't make sense anymore. All of a sudden, the glass, if you hit him over the head with it, it would make sense if the glass is shattered around him. So it's like he went flying, and how did the glass shatter? Well, first of all, where did it shatter? Doesn't it need to come in contact with, like, it wouldn't shatter on the glass. Like, you'd let go of it as you flew through the air, right? And it would land on something. Hold on. All right, play some more.
Well, why he was holding it.
I thought you said on Friday you just agreed with me that people drop things in their head.
Yes, but I think not everything it tends to fly off. I mean, some stuff flies off, some stuff will stay on. It's not uncommon to find a piece of clothing and stuff, that you find at the scene.
Piece of clothing?
Like clothing, like shoes. I mean, it's like shoes and stuff like that to come off the body during a pedestrian crash.
Well, that's not what I asked.
I know. I'm just saying. You asked me. You said why this. I'm just responding to what you said. I'm trying to make sure you understand what I'm saying.
No, I don't. But I'll ask another question. Shoes are strapped on by definition, right?
Yes, but it's very common for shoes to come off.
What is cell phone?
Cell phone. Yeah. Yeah, it depends. Depending on where it is.
Well, it was under his body.
Okay.
How do you account for that? He held onto his cell phone with one hand and held onto the cup with the other.
Objection.
Sustained. Ask it differently.
If the cell phone was found under his torso, under his body, what's your theory on how that cell phone ended up flying 30 feet?
It just did.
That's the quote of the day. It just did. It just did. The cell phone, and I mean, this is him surrendering. How'd the cell phone get there? Just did. Expert quote. Like, I got to get that next shirt. Just did. Expert crash reconstructionist. Just did, bro. Just did. Just did. And these are like, how did the cell phone get under him? Why would they plant the cell phone under him too? I mean, they did a shitty job. They should have thrown it around. They throw it a few feet away, something like that. You can't put it under him. What are you doing?
Just did. And somehow, as he landed, tucked that cell phone underneath his body, so he landed on top of it.
So he's stuck. He landed. He's going flying through the air, holds onto the drinking glass. That shatters somehow on grass and goes all around him. And then the phone puts it underneath his body for warmth, I guess. I don't know. Something like that. Look at him. He's like, yeah, maybe.
It just did. That's the evidence at the scene. I didn't put the evidence there. So.
Well, you didn't.
All right,
well,
so
you didn't. Oh, you did. Look at that. Look at that face.
I've told you
look
before.
Look at him shaking his head. Watch this.
Landed on top.
Look at him.
It just did. That's the evidence at the scene. I didn't put the evidence there. So.
Well, you didn't.
All right, so
look at that. Like, he got so mad. He's just like, well, you didn't. You weren't there. Couldn't be you. Yeah, that was so great. I mean, he can get in trouble for that. But the thing about Auntie Bev is she has no control of her courtroom. Like, there's no rules. Like, think about what's happening. If you're new here and you haven't watched all the pretrial stuff, like, the pretrial shit was wild. Like, she had no control of her courtroom. One time on the Zoom, like, she couldn't figure out how to shut people up on the Zoom. And somebody yells on the Zoom, "Fuck you, Beverly." And she didn't, like, shut the Zoom down. She let people stay on. And then somebody else yelled, "Free 𝗵𝗵𝗲𝗍𝗵𝗍𝗵𝗍." Free 𝗵𝗵𝗍𝗵𝗍𝗵𝗍. He said that. I mean, yeah, free 𝗵𝗵𝗍𝗵𝗍𝗵𝗍. Free 𝗵𝗵𝗍𝗵𝗍. And fuck you, Beverly. And like, I never stood up when it was like, all rise. I never stood up for her because I don't stand up for tyrants. That's what I don't honor tyrants. So, yeah. She just has no control. So there's no consequences for people like Alan Jackson doing whatever they want because they know that, like, they're just testing her and like, oh, she's not going to sanction me or fine me. Just keep doing it. There's no consequences because the jury still hears that. The jury hears the theatrics of it all. They are selling to the jury that, yeah, this is not, you're not supposed to do what they're doing, right? You're not supposed to say shit like, well, you didn't. but they're outraged. Like they're doing something they're not supposed to do because they're so outraged that this woman, their client, is being framed for murder. It's outrageous. So you're also, yeah, they're not supposed to do that, but you're also not supposed to frame people for murder. So there's that.
As I've told you before, lawyers cannot make comments. So disregard it. Mr. Jackson, don't do it again. So you understand, but don't do it. Your answer is always, I understand. Don't do it.
Yeah, because you have no control.
Cell phone in one hand, cup in the other hand. Look at the other, right?
Objection.
Sustained.
You were informed of this incident on January 29th, 2022 at about 2:30 in the afternoon. Is that right?
Yes.
At the time, you were working out of the 𝗺cie facility, which is located on West Grove Street in Middleborough. Is that right?
Yes.
By the way, that's a facility that has multiple garages. Sally ports, I don't know if they're called Sally ports, but garage bays, correct?
The mechanic shop are there.
The mechanic shop
Yes.
is, if you're going to review, for instance, for purposes of reconstruction, if you're going to review a vehicle, is the vehicle placed in those mechanic bays?
No, not there. That's for state police vehicles.
Okay, so where to that?
No, the only
Ultimately, was this SUV ever taken to Middleborough?
We'll skip this part, but we've been over this before. There are multiple barracks, Middleborough and Foxborough barracks, that are closer to Dighton when they tow Karen Reed's car from her parents' house. But they brought it to Canton, who is no longer on the case. It just happened to be like 2 miles as the crow flies from Brian Albert's house. I mean, they could have brought it to any police department. I mean, why not? What's wrong? Does the Dighton police not have a garage they can bring this car to or something? Like, why does it have to be the Canton police? Why? You tell me.
But
I'm going to ask you to keep
the fact that the SUV that was being seized on January 29th, review on this case, any physical review on this case or analysis on the case, you were told that there had been a crash, correct?
Yes.
You testified to that at the state court grand jury in this matter. Is that right? That you've been told in advance this was a vehicle pedestrian crash. You were asked to analyze it, right?
Yes.
You wrote in the report that it was a single vehicle collision involving a pedestrian, and you were, quote, assigned to reconstruct that collision, correct?
Yes.
So when you began your analysis, 𝗃𝗍𝗄𝗆, you were told conclusively by the lead investigator, Michael Proctor, that the deceased was hit by a car, and your job was to reconstruct it. Is that right?
Objection.
Okay, so there are lots of parts to that. Break it down.
Sure. Were you told by Michael Proctor to reconstruct this incident?
Objection.
So were you told that by Chief Proctor?
I was not.
Okay, next question.
Sure. Who were you told? Who were you given your instructions by?
Instructions for what?
Reconstruct this incident.
I wasn't given instructions to reconstruct it. It's just I was assigned to it.
Right.
I was requested. My assistance was requested to reconstruct it.
That's my question. Who assigned
Who
you to
did it, you dummy?
I talked to my sergeant at the time. He gave me the phone call.
And you were told some basics about that reconstruction, the event that you were asked to reconstruct, correct?
Yes.
The information that you were told came from the case officer, motorcycle. You were told it was a motor vehicle pedestrian incident that you were asked to reconstruct.
Basic stuff. Yeah.
What I'm asking is, I'm trying to get to is,
Who did
who
it?
gave you that information?
Who did
Where'd
it?
it come from?
That the car was traveling everywhere. Like which part of the information? You asked me about several different things just now.
Dude, who told you
Were
to do
given
it?
Information from multiple sources? Or did someone give you a summary of what you were being asked to do? At the very beginning,
Yep.
who gave you the summary
Summary of the whole entire of what?
of the event that you were asked to reconstruct?
I was passed down when I got to the garage. There was nobody that sat there and gave me the summary, like that I can remember. I was told that it was a pedestrian crash and it was a Boston police officer involved, that this was a vehicle, and that it was traveling.
Where?
I don't know if anybody that I could definitely say that was the person. There was multiple people going around when I got there. I think I talked to troopers at Clark. He was doing crime scene. I think
When you got that, did you call it a low death led to the death of the pedestrian? Struck the pedestrian in reverse.
I didn't have anything else on the time. Is that those scratches happened prior to this collision?
Okay.
I'm sorry.
I didn't have any information.
All right, so now he's going to talk about the scratches on the car because they love to point this out. This was like the headline in the Boston Globe the other day was something like, "Ooh, scratches and dents found in car." It's got to be from this, right? It's got to be from Karen Reed running John O'Keefe over, right?
Information that those scratches were caused from a prior collision, and so when I looked at the evidence, I knew it was in that same area, the right rear tail light. So when I looked at it, it didn't quite fit the pedestrian thing. So when you showed me the video, or I saw the video like a year ago on Court TV, I said that could be.
You asked the question. So
I
next.
saw the video on Court TV. Are you fucking kidding me? That's how he found out. That's what caused it. Okay.
Keep going.
He watches Court
He's
TV.
answering. Next question. Go ahead. Hold on.
The scratches were.
Hold on. Ask your question, Mr. Jackson.
You know what normal wear and tear on a vehicle is, right?
Yes.
Bumpers get scratched myriad ways, correct?
Correct.
Scratched in a grocery store parking lot, right?
Yes.
Shopping cart can bounce off the back of the car and scratch the bumper, scratch the side of the car, quarter panel or something, right?
Sure.
I don't want to go through it, but there's thousands and thousands and thousands of ways that a car can get scratched, correct?
Correct.
My question is, as you sit here, do you have any scientific evidence that those scratches occurred on January 29th at approximately 12:45 a.m.?
What do you mean by scientific evidence?
Well, do you have any evidence whatsoever that you can point to that those scratches occurred on that date and at that time rather than any other time in the history of that view?
Like I said earlier, the video seems to appear that's what it looks like that could have been from.
Well, you said on Friday, let's talk about those scratches for a second.
Yeah.
You testified Friday, you were pretty clear. You said that, if I can find it exactly, striking the Lexus. You remember saying that?
Yes, on the tailgate.
You said, quote, the dent and scratches for his hand could be, those are consistent with striking the Lexus. You remember saying that?
Yes, on the tailgate.
Okay, so the dent and scratches we talked about on Friday, you said were from his hand.
Yes, hand in the glass cup.
Okay. Then are those the same scratches you're talking about in terms of the bumper?
No.
So.
What are you talking about, the scratch inside the bumper that we talk about?
Correct.
Okay,
That's what I'm talking about. Okay. Is there any way to scientifically date a scratch?
No.
If you go out in the parking lot right now, even as an accident reconstructions, you walk out in the parking lot right now and look at a Toyota Camry sitting there. It's got a scratch on it. There's no analysis that you can engage in to date that scratch.
Objection.
So you can ask it differently, Mr. Jackson.
Is there any way that you could, in general,
The answer is
look at a
no.
scratch and say, that scratch is from such and such date?
Objection.
No.
Nothing more.
I'll allow it.
You cannot say, you can look at evidence and shows that it may have been older than what the newer evidence would be, but there's no way to say that specific date and time and that a scratch would come from.
Okay, good job. Why would Lally object to that?
And it's possible that any or all of those scratches on the Lexus could predated January 29th, correct?
Yeah. I guess 𝗵𝗵𝗺𝗺 today, somebody sent me a thing about this. I guess 𝗵𝗵𝗺𝗺 said something to the effect of that this, let me read the text I got about this today. Vinny apparently said that Alan Jackson is going to come across as not credible to the jury if he puts up a witness like Marie Russell, the dog bite doctor. Why? What? And I'm like, how? He goes, he thinks she was a terrible expert witness, that she wasn't sure of herself and she presented herself poorly. Like, are you kidding? Like, what is wrong with Vinny? What is wrong with 𝗵𝗵𝗺𝗺? That's why it's like, who listens to Court TV? I mean, who's like watching that shit? The fact that they have Plevin on is all you need to know. Like, they got Plevin, Nick Rocco, and who's Joe Krusty, who's Colin Albert's attorney. Like, come on, it's a joke. It's like it's like freaking JV Power Hour. Come on, nobody's watching Court TV.
No,
That's not possible.
the ones that are on from the tail light and the other parts of it.
Scratches anywhere on the car.
Depends on what you got. The scratches. You got to show me other scratches on the car.
I'm saying it's possible, since you can't date the scratch, it's possible that any or all of those scratches could predate January 29th. Simple question, right? It's possible.
You're being pretty broad on your scratches here.
I'm not being broad. Let me ask it a different way. Let me ask it again. Is it possible that any or all of the scratches noted on that car predate January 29th?
Any and all of the scratches? See, that's what I'm saying. You're being pretty broad. Any and all scratches on the car
Answer that question.
that predate.
He also thinks the Ian guy is
Objection. I
right.
know every single scratch on that car. I
Oh
mean,
my God.
So can you answer that question?
no.
Okay. So
When I did my initial inspection, that's what it was on from.
That's not what you just said. You said that's what was told to me.
Yeah, by trying.
Okay.
All I said, it's
found next to John O'Keefe's body in the snow at 34th Fairview on January 29th, 2022. You got the cup in mind?
Yes.
Okay. That's the cup. When I say cup, that's the cup.
Okay.
Okay.
Would it change your opinion?
By the way, all right.
I told you.
I want to play
Would it
this
change your-
part about the whole cup here, because like I was looking at the jury when this happened, and they were just kind of rolling their eyes, like, dude, cut this shit. They knew exactly what they were talking. Like, cut the shit, dude. Come on.
Opinion in any way if you knew that the glass pieces do not match the cup.
Objection.
Hold on, can you answer that question?
Would it change your opinion in any way if you found out the glass pieces do not match the cup that John O'Keefe had? Certainly, right? Of course that would. The answer is yes. The answer is definitely yes. So if you say anything other than yes here, you're going to come across as evasive. Like, why, of course that should change your opinion. Like, wait, that's not the glass that he had with him. That means it was planted there by somebody else if it's not the same glass, right? Yes, it should be the same glass that he took out of the cocktail bar. But he doesn't say yes because he's thinking in his head, shit, where's he going with this? Does he have evidence that it wasn't that glass? Am I going to get in trouble here if I say the wrong thing? So he tries to be obtuse. That's a good word, Marine Mom. He's trying to be obtuse. He's trying to be like, wait, what are you talking about? But like, it's a pretty straightforward question. And like his whole shtick here comes across to the jury as dishonest.
No.
I'm sorry. No.
I don't. It's glass from a cup. It's glass. It's not. It doesn't belong to the vehicle.
Right.
It's glass.
But if I told you it didn't match that cup,
What?
Objection.
does that change your opinion?
Are we talking which cup? We never established which cup we're talking about.
How many cups have we been talking about?
You said that cup. When
One
from the
cup,
scene.
bro.
Okay.
That cup. I'm talking.
I just want to make sure that we're on the clear path here. I'm clear what we're talking about.
Absolutely.
Okay. All I said, it's
found next to John O'Keefe's body in the snow at 34 Fairview on January 29, 2022. You got the cup in mind?
Yes.
Okay. That's the cup. When I say cup, that's the cup.
Okay.
Would it change your opinion if I told you that the glass pieces on the bumper don't match that cup?
Yes.
What's my opinion on it? All I said was glass from a cup.
God.
That's
Oh
the
my
only opinion I had. It's glass from a cup that was on a bumper.
Are you saying a cup?
A cup. A cup. It's not glass from the car.
Oh.
That was my opinion on it. I didn't never said it matched to the scene.
You did.
I never said that. My thing. I said it's glass from a cup.
Okay.
Okay. It's like, wait, what?
Say you didn't do any testing to determine the forces necessary to shatter the taillight on a 2021 Lexus 570, right?
I did not do testing.
Maybe you should.
Your report indicates, we talked about this a little bit. I'm going to go back to something we talked about earlier this morning. The report indicates that John O'Keefe came into his final resting place about 7 feet from the roadway, and that's what you based your diagram on, correct?
Yes.
Who told you that number?
Be right back.
I measured it from a diagram.
Be right back. Hold on. I'll play the bang bang video. I'll be right back.
I'll call this bang bang. Seriously? I will fuck you up. I will beat your ass. I will fuck you up. Pull up, bitch. I will fuck you up. I will beat your ass. I will fuck you up.
Objection. Objection.
I will fuck you up. KO. Bang bang. I will fuck you up. You're a bitch, bro. I will fuck you up. I will beat your ass. I will fuck you up. Right?
Yeah.
The bang bang, the bang bang, pull up. The bang bang, the bang bang, pull up. Right?
Yeah.
The bang bang, the bang bang, pull up. The bang bang, the bang bang.
All right, we're back. We're back. Okay, cool. Okay. All right, let's go. Let's play some more.
You should say that again.
I measured it from the diagram.
Okay, what I'm asking is how did it get on the diagram? In other words, who told you that his body was 7 feet from the roadway?
Who told you?
Well, wait, I was told by Lieutenant, was it Gallagher? Captain PT. He told me this is where the body was found.
Oh.
So I used my devices.
Don't
to
tell,
mark
don't tell
the
Sean
location.
of the Gulf.
But before you used your devices, he just pointed someplace on the ground and said he was about here, correct?
That's correct.
Did Lieutenant Gallagher tell you that Lieutenant Gallagher never saw John O'Keefe in place at the scene? Did you say that?
No.
The crime scene
Did
told
Lieutenant Gallagher tell you that the first officer on the scene estimated his body being approximately 15 to 20 feet from the roadway?
No.
If he had told you that, then it changed the diagram?
Objection.
Oh.
He told me this is where he's found. I marked that location. That's all that was.
And you marked basically every other piece of item. Sorry, that's a terrible question. Every other item you marked based on a distance from where you were told John O'Keefe's body came to rest, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, and that was by Lieutenant Gallagher just pointing it around and saying it was about here.
Correct.
Was there a single member of the team that was out when you were being shown where the body came to rest? Was there a single member of that team who actually said they saw John O'Keefe's body in place?
Objection.
I'll allow it.
From, what do you mean team? Canton PD?
Whoever was there. Who was there with you when you started doing your measurements, et cetera?
That's Lieutenant Gallagher. That dude.
Just you and him?
And myself, and I can't remember if that's on their diagram or if that's what I was told at the scene, but yes,
Sure.
yes.
You knew that a cup was found?
Yes.
You were told a cup was found?
Yes.
And 3 pieces of plastic,
All right.
and a red plastic piece 12 feet from John O'Keefe's body, correct?
Correct.
What part of his body were you measuring from?
Like center of mass.
All those arrows pointing at specific locations. Very, very specific. Very thin arrows pointing, correct?
Yes.
If you start off with an incorrect assumption body was, every single piece of stopping, changing gears, moving backward, stopping, changing gears, using steering input, and moving on, correct?
Correct.
Well, those are two very different maneuvers, right? You agree?
It's, in a sense, I was trying to say she made a U-turn. Like, you can say they made a U-turn. It's a 3-point turn. They're still making a U-turn. And I didn't mean it as like she literally had to make a direct U-turn. She was turning around. And obviously the diagram, or the trigger shows a 3-point turn.
Well,
the trigger
shows said reversing direction, right?
That could be a better way to say it, yes.
You didn't say that. You said U-turn. So are you changing your testimony from Friday that it was a 3-point turn, or could it possibly have been a U-turn?
The 3-point turn.
Okay, because you have evidence of the starting, stopping, changing gears, reversing, stopping, changing gears, turning.
That's correct.
So when you said U-turn, that was a starting point and an ending point, tell you the exact path less is traveled.
No, I like that mostly just the addresses.
Okay. Scientific evidence to establish what her actual path of travel is. Or
as a possibility.
All right.
And you knew that there was another route of travel to the same location, correct?
What do you mean?
There were alternative routes of travel to the same 2 points, from and to the same points, correct?
Yes. Yes.
You could have tried to extract the location data from the street's cell phone.
Yeah. So what he's doing here, right? Remember, he had his whole thing measuring the trigger dates. It's all a little confusing. Key cycles and all this trigger dates and blah, blah, blah. And because he never has a time on his charts about like what time this event happened or whatever. It's all based on like how many miles have been put on the car, but there are different routes of travel that she could have used to get from Canton to Dighton. And I believe they went down Route 138 instead of Route 24, which is significantly shorter because of the weather. And that would obviously change their calculations, right? So this guy has no idea, and he didn't look at her phones, nothing to figure out exactly what her route of travel was.
To determine the exact route of travel, correct?
I don't know. I don't have access to the cell phone extractions.
So that answers my next question. You did not even attempt to do that, did you?
No.
The crime scene told him.
You did attempt to analyze the key cycles for the Lexus in order to determine the conversation. It does not have any location data on it whatsoever.
Correct.
All right. So when you drive your car,
All right, we're going to skip some of this
walk out
key
in the
cycle
car,
stuff.
turn the ignition,
Hold on.
we're going back.
It's possible.
All right.
Because we could,
Before that, if the car was started and hit somebody and then they go a certain amount of distance and it's based on miles per hour, the speed of the vehicle, striking the vehicle, and stuff.
oh, okay, hold on. There we go. He is so nervous, rightfully so.
Yeah. Yes.
Look at him.
You were asked, does that remind you that you were asked by a grand jury if you could calculate how far a body would move having been struck by a vehicle?
Yes.
And you indicated, quote, yeah, there's certain calculations we can do with that. Would figure out if the car backed up, hit somebody, and then they go a certain amount of distance, and it's based on miles per hour, the speed of the vehicle, striking the vehicle, and stuff.
And stuff.
You saying that?
Yes.
What did you mean by stuff?
And stuff.
I don't know.
You said that the calculations would be based on miles per hour and stuff.
And
Did
stuff.
you ever do any stuff to test that? The grand jury's question.
No, we cannot calculate anything from this collision.
And
Say that one more time.
We cannot calculate anything from this collision.
Who's we?
Me, the role me.
Well, you know John O'Keefe's weight, right?
What's that?
You know John O'Keefe's weight, 217 pounds, right?
And stuff.
Yes.
Did you know that?
I don't know his weight now.
You don't?
You know the weight of the vehicle?
Yes.
What's the weight of the vehicle, gross weight?
What's the gross weight? I think it's approximately 7,300 pounds.
Actually, a Lexus LX 570 actually weighs 5,900 pounds. You know, but it's only 1,400 pounds off, which obviously greatly affects your mathematics or whatever you're trying to figure out. But whatever, details are schmeetails.
Were you able to calculate the mass of the vehicle?
I did not calculate the mass of the vehicle.
Well, you told the grand jury that you were planning on doing that kind of stuff to calculate how far a person would travel being struck at that speed with a car that weight. You didn't do those calculations?
No, because the calculations would vastly underestimate the speed of the vehicle.
You testified, again, my report isn't done yet. I'm going to look into it. I'm looking into all that stuff, end quote, correct?
Yes.
There's that word again. It's been more than 2 years since that statement at the grand jury. Is your report finished?
Yes, it is.
Did you engage in any of those calculations?
I looked into it. This type of collision I would not be able to use the formulas for this type of collision.
Well, let's talk about those formulas.
It's a type of formula that we use for.
There would be physics calculations that would be required to figure out how far a body at rest would move, having been struck by an object in motion. Right? That's the basic principle.
Yeah, I guess you could say though.
All right. Can you describe for the jurors exactly what calculations you would need to employ to determine how far a body at rest would travel, having been struck by an object in motion?
So in this scenario, in this collision, it's more of a side swipe. So he did not ascertain. He did not get enough speed of the vehicle post-impact with the vehicle to BL calculations. His center of mass was offset from the vehicle. So we would vastly underestimate his speed. So that's why I did not do a formula. If he was more in line with behind the vehicle, he would have been projected forward, and using that projection forward, he would have been able to get more closer to the actual speed of the vehicle during that post-impact travels.
Well, that presumes a couple of things, Paul. That presumes that he was quote unquote satisfied, right?
Presumed?
Presumed by you. You didn't see how he was hit, did you?
Based on the evidence, it appeared to be a 𝗧𝗂𝗧𝗂𝗍𝗍.
That's your opinion.
That's disagreeing the evidence.
You're saying that the principles of physics as we know them today, in modern mathematics, is thwarted by 𝗧𝗂𝗧𝗍𝗂𝗧?
Objection.
Is that what you're saying?
It's the calculations that are out there. You can get a speed, it'll just underestimate the speed.
You would have to know what the initial momentum of the object is that's in motion, correct?
Of what object?
The truck. Paul.
I would have to know that speed.
Yeah, you'd have to know what the initial momentum is, not speed, momentum. There's a difference.
Okay.
Right? Would you agree with that?
No.
You wouldn't have to calculate what the initial momentum is of the object in motion to determine the distance of the body at rest would move?
Well, now in that sense, are we talking about trying to find the speed of the vehicle? That's usually what we're trying to do.
Right, okay, well, let's put the speed of the vehicle aside. Let's talk about initial momentum. What's the formula for calculating initial momentum?
There's different types of momentum formulas.
Well, there's actually one type of momentum formula. It's to calculate momentum.
Objection.
Sustained.
To calculate momentum, there's a
So sustained. Ask it differently.
Isn't it true, Paul, that there is a singular calculation for determining initial momentum? That is P equals M times phi, where P is the momentum you're solving for that. M is mass, you multiply that by velocity. Is that right? Pretty simple.
You wouldn't use that in a pedestrian collision.
Oh, because the pedestrian's somehow magically out of the realm of physics?
Objection.
Sustained.
Is the pedestrian out of the realm of physics and calculations?
No, it's the weight differential between the pedestrian and the vehicle.
So if the vehicle is too heavy and the body is too light, you can't calculate the initial momentum of the vehicle?
Yes.
Got it. Where'd you learn that?
It's in my math class. We don't use momentum for a vehicle to be
Math class?
the math
class.
The fracture construction classes I have taken.
Got it.
The class.
Would you need to apply the theory of conservation of momentum in calculating these data?
Do I need to calculate the conservation of momentum?
Calculation, the conservation of momentum.
Yes.
You know what that is? There's an equation for that as well, right?
Yes.
You know what that is?
Not off the top of my head, but yes.
Based on the basic principles of physics, is the total momentum of the collision greater or less than the total momentum after the collision? Total momentum before the collision, is it greater or less than the total momentum after the collision? Basic question.
What type of collision?
Paul, they're exactly equal in all respects under the principles of physics, right? That's the theory of the conservation of momentum. Momentum doesn't change. It's
Yes.
transferred
This
from one
guy's
line
not
to
doing
another.
so good. He didn't.
Correct.
Yes. Yeah.
Why did you say that to the jurors?
Objection.
Sustained.
Because I didn't know it. Because I didn't know
The
it.
stuff that you were talking to about flying through the air 30 feet.
Okay. Sustained.
How about calculating the displacement using kinematics?
All right.
Sustained.
Are you saying that the principles of physics are incapable of determining with the proper calculations how far John O'Keefe's body
This is
would
great.
move
This is
given
great.
the collision at issue?
Objection.
Is that what you're saying, Trooper?
No.
Okay, next question.
Well, you just said because it was a sideswipe, all these calculations, these physics calculations are inapplicable, right?
I'm saying I would underestimate the speed and the distance.
The truth is, Trooper Paul, you have no idea what all these physics calculations mean, do you?
No.
Objection.
You've
None.
not been trained in physics formally, have you?
Yes.
You have been.
It's incorporated into
We're going to get
classes.
to the
Right, you have a few
pirouette.
classes that use the word physics. but you
We're
haven't
gonna
been
get to the
formally trained in
pirouette.
physics.
Objection.
Sustained.
You haven't been formally trained in kinematics, correct?
It's in the aspects of all our crash reconstruction classes.
You haven't been formally trained and hold no degrees in biomechanics, do you?
I do not have a degree in biomechanics.
In fact, basically what you did in this case was calculated emission cycles. And you got those wrong, right?
Objection.
Sustained. Come on, Mr. Jackson. Ask the.
Taillight shattered. Explain it to us.
All right, here we go. This is the good
Let
part.
me ask you this. Based on your reconstruction, nearly 2-year investigation, exactly how was that taillight shattered?
Yeah, please tell us.
How does the taillight? What do you? It got, so the taillight in this case was shattered when it was struck John O'Keefe's arm.
Exactly what part of his arm?
Based on what I saw for his injuries, was from the upper part of his arm down.
Was his arm out? It just struck the arm like a hinge? Was it in front of him? You did the reconstruction?
It
Here's exactly how his body was positioned when he was struck by that.
So it looks like his arm was more kind of like this. If I can try to get that.
You're indicating out by his
This
side.
was great. I wish the camera in court showed Alan Jackson, like, because him doing, like, you should have seen his body when he was doing this. It was hilarious. So it's just like, show me physically how he broke his hand. Let's see this. Let's see it. How did he break the taillight with his arm?
correct?
Yes.
Right. And the taillight would have struck his arm, right?
Yes.
Not his torso.
Yes.
Okay. So the full mass, full weight of that truck hit him basically at the elbow. Is that right?
No,
Missing his
no.
torso.
I said it's the upper part of the arm
Right.
down. Yeah.
Elbow and the biceps.
I didn't see anything that shows an indication that this lower torso was struck, but
Okay. So
it's not saying it could not have been a possibility, but I just didn't see anything.
So his torso was spared from being hit, but the arm took the brunt, the full force of the vehicle, correct?
Like arm and shoulder, yes.
Okay. And you said he then did a spin, like a sort of pirouette.
He got spun around possibly the way he struck, it looked like he could have gone turned around counterclockwise.
Okay. So if he turns around counterclockwise, is he turning around in the air counterclockwise?
Yes, initially.
So he gets hit, upper biceps, shoulder area, and down to the forearm, right?
Yes.
You get stupid Jackie Dougal. She's like, wait a minute, this is making too much sense. This is making too much sense. Like, I mean, think about that, right? If it was his arm, what is it? It was his right arm, right? So it's like his right arm, which means he's facing the road, and it hits the thing. In order for it, like if it hits his arm and his arm's next to his body, at least that way you're pushing back with 217 pounds of your body is pushing back on the car. It's still not enough force to break the taillight, right? But if your arm is just out, right? Well, how much does this weigh? That's the only force that's pushing back on the taillight, right? Your body isn't pushing back on it, just your arm is. And your arm is on a hinge called your shoulder. So, like, how is this going to shatter that? Explain that one to me. Like, I hate to say it, but like if it hits you, if a taillight, you get hit by a Lexus and the taillight hits your arm for some reason, because it's just dangling out there for God knows whatever reason, your arm's just going to get, like, it's going to hurt. You're going to get bruised. It's not going to shatter the taillight. I don't even know what would happen. Like, it would hurt your funny bone, I guess. I wouldn't, it would be a stinger. It would suck. It wouldn't shatter the taillight. It's absurd.
By an unbroken taillight, right?
Yes.
In other words, it's nice and smooth. No shards of plastic or anything broken at the time that it made contact with his arm, right?
Correct.
Okay, so how does his arm get on that?
Because when his arm struck the taillight then cracked. And as the car driving past him, the taillight could scratch it.
Got it. So he gets hit by the car, not his torso, just the arm. The taillight cracks. And as it passes by, his arm stays with it long enough to get striations, those scratches that you see, those lacerations, I'm sorry, those abrasions, right?
In a sense, yes.
And at the same time, he does a pirouette and flies 30 feet to his final place.
I don't know if he did a pirouette.
Well, I'm using the word pirouette. He spun around.
He started rotating counterclockwise. I don't know how far he ran counterclockwise, but he started rotating. According to that, would push him to rotate counterclockwise. Whether he went counterclockwise all the way to his back toward the ground, it seems like a most likely possibility.
Did you account for the fact that his arm is on a hinge?
Nope.
It's what? Say again?
Did you account for the fact in this scenario that you just told the jurors that his arm is on a hinge?
On a
his
hinge.
shoulder?
Okay.
Okay. So, arm got hit. Did his arm just swing?
I said arm and shoulder area, so his arm could have been considered part of it.
Even if his shoulder got, the upper, according to his upper biceps.
Mhm.
Right? There's no injuries on his shoulder. Not a single one. Not even a bruise. Right?
Like I said, it looked like to me it was from up here. I don't know how
Some
far
people were laughing.
back here, but
Some
it was up
people
here.
laughing.
So.
You're the one that
Juror
has injuries on his arm.
Yes.
That's limited to about mid biceps, about mid forearm, right?
Oh, and real quick, so some tea about the juror that went away. So Jessica Machado from Fall River Reporter reported. So she calls juror number 5 Mima. She was an older looking lady, not that old. I would say late 50s, early 60s. Gray hair. And according to Jess Machado, this was let me read this. All right. Last Friday, one of the jurors in the Kearney case was dismissed. The juror was inadvertently caught on camera as she was made her way to the bench. Sources tell me that this juror was bad-mouthing Karen to other jurors in the jury room. Some of the things being said included Karen always turning around, talking to her parents, as well as Karen smiling and making faces. Sources tell me one juror had enough and spoke up, and allegedly other jurors were questioned and said she needs to go. I gave some jurors the nickname at the start of the trial, and I called this one Mima because she reminded me of a grandmother who, if she could, would knit in a a blanket from the jury box. I posted about her several times while covering the case. I will post the screenshots in this thread. So anyway, I knew this juror. I've seen this juror before, and she looks. She's never done anything visibly pro Karen or indicated that she's pro Karen or not guilty the whole time. I have no idea what this woman's thinking, but I was told by other reporters, I was not there that day, that jurors 3 and 12, both women, were also called up, because I was told 4 jurors were called up, including her. And that tells you that whatever happened definitely was an issue that came from within the jury room. So a juror snitched on another juror. And I'm told, I'm told that it was jurors 3 and 12 that also were brought up there, which means they are the ones that probably reported this woman, right? And that leads it to be credible, because I would say jurors 3 and 12 are the most obviously not guilty votes I've seen on the entire jury panel. Like, there is no way these 2 women are going to vote to convict. They have made up their mind a long time ago. Juror 3 visibly laughed at 𝗄𝗄𝗃, like laughed out loud. Other people, I think Christina Rex and Ted Daniels reported and tweeted the same thing that I saw, that he laughed at 𝗄𝗃𝗃. And juror 12 like rolls her eyes a lot. I've seen her fall asleep before. She's younger. She's not impressed at by these people. And they know they're and so like that to me, this story from Jess Machado is credible, because if it's because of the other jurors that were called up. And I'm sure if anyone out there is I can't imagine any of these people. So I don't know what this woman said. Like, if she's saying that she doesn't like Karen, turn around smiling, I would recommend, Karen can do whatever she wants. She's a grown ass woman. If I were coaching her, I'd be like, no more smiling, just don't give them a reason to hate you. Don't give them a reason to dislike you. That's just what I would say. But, I think she's so far ahead, it doesn't really fucking matter. People didn't like Terrell Owens because he did things you weren't supposed to do, but that motherfucker scored a lot of touchdowns, didn't he? Randy Moss, same way. That's what the great ones do. When you're winning by a lot, you can do whatever you want. The rules kind of don't apply to you. So it is what it is. The conventional wisdom.
Okay. Right?
Yes.
No injuries on the shoulder, no injuries on the torso, no injuries on the ribs, no injuries on the back, correct? Is that right?
Yes.
So your theory is you got hit on the arm, took the brunt of the force from the taillight on the arm, stayed with the vehicle long enough for the taillight to explode, basically to shatter. Then the striations get on his arm, abrasions, does a pirouette, spin, counterclockwise, and flies 30 feet in the air to his point of rest.
Yeah, I have to probably go faster than that, though.
It's just made him look so.
I said he hit his head on the curb.
I thought you said he hit his
that's
head
one
on
of the
the curb.
possibilities. When you look at the roadway.
And by the way, that was the point right there. When he said all that, that's when juror number 3 started laughing out loud, was that moment right there. I thought you said he hit his head on the curb. So he flew onto the grass for 30 feet. Wait, what?
Going around kind of clockwise. It's a possibility that the curb is there. Any blunt force object on the ground the ground is pretty blunt.
Well, except in your scenario that you just told us, he flew through the air onto the light dusting of snow, grass, and dirt.
I didn't say through the air.
Say that again?
I didn't say he got thrown through the air.
Okay, I'll use your word. Yeah, projected.
Projected doesn't mean it's not incorporating just throw. Project just means you get pushed forward. There's two parts of that. There's the air, then there's the ground. Like I said earlier, the tumbling, the rolling, whatever that part of the crash would happen. Projecting is just what we call what happens to a pedestrian post impact with a crash.
Okay, so a couple questions. If his arm, elbow, rough, that entire impact, how do you account for the fact that he didn't suffer a broken bone?
I don't know.
How do you account for the fact that he didn't have a fracture?
Objection.
Sustained.
How do you account for the fact that he didn't even have a bruise on the arm?
Objection.
That's sustained.
Irreproachable. Yes.
Like, how are those sustained? Those are such good questions. Like, how do you not have any of those? Like, you got hit by a car going that fast? Yeah. So anyway, it takes a break. We do a break, ski. Come back. Some more.
Witness statements.
629B.
Big impact.
All right.
Extra data?
No.
And then Lally attempts to bring him out and ask him more questions, which is just a huge mistake. Like, just get this guy out of here. Lally, stop. You're not going to win Like the jury's done with this guy. They're like, this guy is like they've had a lot of bad days. Day 26 was the worst day they've had by far. Like this guy was the most important witness that they have by far. Like none of these McCabe's, McAlberts, none of these people matter that much. Firefighters. The person that matters is the guy who's going to explain to you how she killed him. That's what she, that's his job. And he could not be more incompetent. It started with community college. As soon as you heard that, I'm like, bro, come on, man. I'm not nothing against community college. Like you can make a fine living going to community college, but like, dude, come on. It just sounds bad. It's just like, I went to Quinn Sig, did a couple of years there.
And why not, sir?
They don't record stuff that related
So
to
like the fact that they brought this guy back out and he wanted, like they thought that he could fix what was broken shows how naive they are.
Based on the key cycles that you claimed were 34 Fairview.
Yes.
But in the hypothetical, if there were 4 events, 4 driving, 4 key cycle events between 1164 and 1159, it could not have occurred at 1162, correct? 34 Fairview. In my hypothetical.
In your hypothetical, if it recorded a key cycle, then your hypothetical is correct.
Right. And last question: if you got the route of travel incorrect, if your presumption of the route of travel was incorrect on that vehicle in the days earlier, then your mileage would be incorrect also, correct?
Mileage from what, the odometer?
All right, so let me do a little. We're done with this guy. Let me read a couple turtle chats here. Let me read some of these. Let me refresh this. Okay, Lally Gaggin sends $25 and says real experts are going to stomp the Temu troopers. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Nancy sends $5 and says the Commonwealth needs an expert to reconstruct Trooper Paul's testimony. They certainly could. Next one. LT sends $5 and says Trooper Joe Short Bus Paul. Yes, he is. Laura, geez Louise. Laura sends $200. Holy cow. Very kind of you, Laura. Her comment reads as follows. Please remind me of your article years ago, something about Canton Police, Route 1, Norwood, hamsters, and gerbils. I don't know, Laura. I wish for $200, I'd like to answer your question, but I just don't know what that means. Hamsters, gerbils, Route 1, Norwood, and Canton Police. That sounds like a riddle. I don't know what the answer to that is, but thank you. Dana sends $10 and goes, who is the couple sitting next to Karen's parents? The woman was wearing a red shirt today and the man was wearing a suit with the vest. Yeah, they're there every day. That's her good friend Kat and her husband. They live in another state. I'm not going to say where. Karen visits them a lot, and they're just good friends from high school. I believe they went to high school together, and she's at like every she's a ride or die, obviously. She's at like every one of her court dates. Like it's so, yeah. I mean, Karen has really loyal friends. Some the critics would be like, she doesn't have any friends. That's why she has to bring all these people in. Bro, are you kidding me? Paul O'Keefe invited the fake victim. Like, talk about no friends. Like, he invited the fake victim into court. He has to be friends with the McAlberts. No friends. She has, first of all, who has that many friends? Like, I got like a handful of like really close friends, like who has friends at this age? Like you have a couple friends, that are and that's good. She got a couple close friends. That's good. Like what else do you want from her? So anyway, Dana sends $10. No, Amanda sends 25 and says, did you see the TikTok from Molly Bish's sister supporting Jackson and Yannetti? Justice for Molly. No, I didn't. If somebody wants to send that to me, send it to me. I'd love to play it. Molly Bish, of course. She's my age in high school. She was 16 years old. She's from Warren, Massachusetts, which is kind of in between Worcester and Springfield, halfway in the middle of nowhere, a dumpy town, real shithole. A lot of fucking shady people in Warren. Don't go to Warren. And so she was lifeguarding at this pond. I think it's Commons Pond. And she got dropped off there and she was 16 and nobody ever saw her again. And 3 years later, a hunter found artifacts of her clothing in the woods. And, her remains were discovered. And it was, she was, I assume she was obviously murdered. probably sexually assaulted too, odds are. And they never found her killers ever. I don't even think they have any really solid leads. So, you know, it is what it is. I mean, it's a safe town. It's eerie. It's a dump. It's a dump, but it's kind of the last place in the world you'd expect something this horrible to happen. But there are a lot of shady people out, and no offense, people in Warren know that. Like, it's a skeevy looking people out there. But anyway, if somebody has that, I guess Molly Bish's sister, they never found out who did it. And are people sending me? Okay, I got it. I'm going to play it. Of course, people send it. You don't have to send it anymore. I got it. I'm going to play it right now. Let's play Molly Bish's sister. So this is good that she's talking about this, that the Kearney movement is getting noticed like this.
This is a shout out today to David Yannetti and Alan Jackson for bringing forward and showing us the problems that we have in the Massachusetts State Police. It has been clear to me for 24 years since my sister was abducted and murdered in central Massachusetts that we have a problem with our investigation and our units in the state police. I have struggled, and many of the things that have come out are things that I've had a hard time articulating myself. And
you know, so Warren would be part of probably the Brookfield barracks, I'm guessing. And you know who worked out of the Brookfield barracks? Michael Proctor did. That's where he got his start. There's actually a picture of Michael Proctor in the newspaper in like 2015. They found a woman, a girl who was lost in the woods in West Brookfield or something like that. And she was mentally retarded. I don't know if that's the term to use, but I think you can use that term. And it's just so ironic now because he calls David Yannetti, he calls Karen Reed, David Yannetti's retarded client. I mean, so anyway, there's that.
And, you know, that the audience is here now and they're seeing this in live time. And I think it's really exposing the issues that we have in the Massachusetts State Police. In my case, Molly's crime scene was not preserved from the beginning. When she was found in 2003, it took
mentally challenged. I don't
time
know.
for the state police to get there. Enough time for the person who found her bathing suit to take pieces of that bathing suit.
Oh, wow.
And put them in his pocket.
What?
Which was later revealed on 48 Hours. So again, there was issues, and my concern with my sister's case is predominantly with the evidence protection and the DNA analysis that can be done on that evidence. Every time I've spoken to the state police about it, I get stonewalled. They will never tell me what kind of testing is being done or where it is being done. In fact, in 2013, we were awaiting testing, and it wasn't coming back, and it was taking a long time. And when they finally called me and told me, they said, "Oh, we're not going to talk to you about DNA anymore, Heather." And there was no clear answer to that besides the fact that something had occurred between the detectives and the lab, and they either lost it or they didn't do what they were supposed to do. But the victim's family was the one who paid the price for that. So my heart goes out to the O'Keefe family. I know what it's like to not get justice and to feel like your investigation wasn't done in the manner that you expected it to be.
Well, just to let Heather Bish know here, like, as far as the O'Keefes are concerned, everything's fine. Just the investigation was that's the only thing that's wrong here. Peggy O'Keefe, Paul O'Keefe, the investigation was just fine to them. Like, they're perfectly satisfied with how the investigation has gone. And they have not, I mean, I'm glad that she's saying something about the investigation, but maybe they should too. See, this is a perfect example. If you don't like the way that the police are handling your loved one's murder, you can criticize them. You can use a platform to say something instead of being like Paul O'Keefe and just standing there going, that's all he does. It's like he doesn't say any, like, does he listen? I don't even know. Maybe he should say something. I would.
Done by these esteemed professionals. I sit on the Mass Office of Victim Assistance Board, and in that seat, I want to thank again David Yannetti and Alan Jackson for all families and victims' family from across Massachusetts for exposing this. You are helping us in ways that we couldn't have expected or known. So thank you.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Be right back. I just got to check on it real quick. Hold on.
I be looking fresh with them feds watching. I be looking fresh with them feds watching. I be looking fresh with them feds watching. New whip, yeah. Dogs, Toto. All you're doing is going down a bloody yellow brick motherfucking road. Sexual misconduct on a student. I be looking fresh with them feds watching. I be looking fresh with them feds watching. New whip, yeah. Dogs, Toto. Make your block hot. Kettle, buck 40, evil couldn't evil, I be stunting. Paparazzi, put the barrel down your throat. Have you singing Lady Gaga. Gaga.
All right, cool. We're back. All right, so that was cool. All right, next turtle chat we have here. Let's see. Sonia sends $10 and says, for the tail light to have caused those scratches, as Trooper Paul suggests, John would have had to insert his arm into it, like a farmer inserts his arm into a cow's ass. Okay. It's absurd. Keep up the great work, doctor. Watching from Australia. Thank you. Dana sends $10, but you're right about that. Who is the couple No, we already got that one. Okay. No. Okay. Tammy sends $5, says, sorry, it can't be more. Never apologize for that. But payday isn't until Friday. My question is, who is the guy in the O'Keefe camp with the beard sitting next to? I'm told that his name is like Sean Coyne or something like that. I could have it wrong. He's like a Boston firefighter. It is. He comes every day. Like his dedication to this sham is odd. But you know, he sits right. He seems to care about Peggy O'Keefe more than Paul does because he sits next to her every single day too. All right. Luca from Malden, Dr. Luca sends $5, says Dr. Russell has more education and experience and integrity than an entire Massachusetts State Police Department combined. Bev's shitting on her like she wasn't well-spoken. Bev's a dumb F herself, talking shit about someone that's 50 times smarter than her. So true. We're going to get to that next. Kim Stevens sends $25 and says, I can't say thank you enough. When Karen is found not guilty, please don't leave us in Mass. Oh, I'm not going anywhere. Mass is still my home. Don't get me wrong. But we got more problems to fix after that's done. Patricia sends $5 and goes, closed captioned operators earned their salaries on Trooper Paul. Yes, they did. Marie sends $10 and goes, everything else aside, can we just discuss how darn ugly 34 Fairview Road was? It's an injustice to your background, Doc. Shame on Queen Twat of Canton. I know. They just didn't, they let it go. They're just like, dude, yeah, it's a nice piece of property. Can you fix it up a bit? Like do something with it, take care of it. Anyway, thank you. Jen's Tooth sends $15 and goes, if Trooper Paul did his key test cycling at 1164, then there's no way Karen's drive from the waterfall to Fairview was key cycle 1162. That's what he was implying, right? I honestly, I don't give a shit about the key cycle stuff. I don't care. I wasn't paying attention. I don't care. I tried getting into it. I don't care. And I'm not interested in learning about it. All I know is he wasn't hit by a fucking car. So I don't really give a shit. So thank you very much. Appreciate that. Jen's Tooth. Laura sends $6 and goes, you wake my dormant punk rocker fired up and outraged. All right. Thank you, Laura. Heidi sends 20. He goes, if he wasn't hit, we must have quit. Does Chris Albert still live in Canton? I believe he does, but not entirely sure about that. Sean Kelly sends $6. Goes, congrats to the Canton Select Board for giving Chief Rafferty a new 3-year contract. Look both ways in the crosswalk, folks. You knew that was coming, though. You knew that was coming. That was a guarantee. Doug S sends $10 and goes, I hope I never get on your bad side, but I love you, brother. It takes a lot to get on my bad side. Just don't fuck me over. That's all I care. Like, don't go out of your way to, like, don't make up a lie and call the cops on me, or, just be a turncoat. Like, just don't be a turncoat. That's all I ask. There's a lot of turncoats out there that, like, I was perfectly nice to these people, and then all of a sudden, you get a little taste of something, and you're like, oh, well, let's fucking fuck this guy over, or I'm too big for this guy now. Fuck him. Let's go and do our own thing. And can we stop with the 𝗬𝗄𝗃 shit, by the way, on the Justice page? Can I say that too? No more 𝗬𝗃 shit. Okay. There's too much shit on there, but and everybody's like, oh, and let me just rant about this for a moment. Okay. So the 𝗬𝗃 shit on there, everybody's got an 𝗬𝗃 page where they're making designs. Now, I don't trademark any of these designs. Okay. I don't own it, but it's cheap. It's like Twisted Tragedies. We crapped on Twisted Tragedies in October and November when she was doing this. Remember, she was selling like Jim Ferriss's Rude shirts and shit like that. Like, get your own fucking logos, And now I don't own the Jackson United 2024 thing. I don't own that shit. But it's like, bro, it's kind of our thing, Like, what the fuck? Now everybody's making an 𝗬𝗃, and then they share it on the Justice page, which gets them like 50,000 new viewers that they normally wouldn't have. And they always have the caveat, oh, we're donating to Karen. 10% goes to Karen. And then they hide behind that. But then they jack up the prices. It's more expensive. So it's like, 10%. First of all, how do we know 10% is going to Karen? Where's the oversight on this? Who's allowing this? And honestly, if you're in a giving mood, if you want to give money to Karen, then give money to Karen. You don't have to sell your fucking shirts on the Justice page to give money to Karen Reed. Okay. That's it. And but the critics will say, but Turtle Boy, you're selling t-shirts too. Motherfucker, I'm the reason this happened. Okay. I've got a right to sell shirts. All this shit you're seeing out here, these protests, the reason the story is what it is today, the reason there's fucking any money in the Karen Reed legal defense is because of me. So yes, I will have a monopoly on t-shirts on that fucking page. Okay. The 𝗬𝗃 shit, please stop selling the 𝗬𝗃 shit on the Justice page. It's like you're taking advantage of this. Okay. Because even if you do donate something to Karen, you're still making money yourself, and you would not be making that money had you not used this Justice page to do that. Right. Which you had nothing to do with creating. Like, that's what I mean by piggybacking off. Like, dude, I built this shit. And now all these other people are like, ooh, I can make t-shirts too. I have an 𝗬𝗃, blah, blah, blah. It's fine. Have an 𝗬𝗃. Have it on your own fucking page. Stop sharing it on the Justice page. And I brought this up to Nick Rocco, of course. And he's no, he runs the page. It's not my page anymore. Remember, he took over the page. He's the big star now. So he took over the page. And, I texted him about this last week. He goes, refrain from messaging me anymore. What was his exact word? Let me see his exact word. His exact word was, when I messaged him about this, please refrain from contacting me. Okay. So I'm not allowed to express displeasure because it's his page. So I'm like, can we stop with the 𝗬𝗃 shit? Like, somebody the other day, like, this is the most foul shit I've ever seen. And I'm going to be pissed about this. We're going to talk about this. I'm going to rant about this. Okay. Because I didn't like this at all. I did not like this. Let me pull this up. Like, okay, this one. This is fucked up. All right, hold on. Going a little off topic here, but needs to be said. I don't know if you guys agree with me or not, but I'm going to say it anyway. No, I ran that page. I'm the reason that page has any followers at all. And then I wanted to add a couple admins because I had some concerns I wanted to talk about. And then next thing you know, they threatened to kick me out. And then Jenna Rocco makes a post saying I deserve to be in jail. Like, I deserve to be locked up, I believe. I don't care about Karen Reed. Fuck you, okay? I care a lot. I've done a million times more than you have, dear, okay? Anyway, this is the post. Look at this shit. Look at this. This is disgusting. I saw this on the page, and I'm like, you motherfuckers approved this? You're making fun of the balloon knot shit? You're profiting off of this? This is on a Justice for a Turtle Boy official. Justice for... This shirt is fucking disgusting. Disgusting. We're making fun of Karen Reed's bowel movements now? Fucking gross. Oh, but 10% goes to Karen. Somebody made a fucking, it's fucking disgusting. I saw this shirt. I'm like, who the fuck approved this shit? Oh, but I can't add my own admins. This is why I wanted to add my own admins to the page. So shit like this doesn't get through, because this is fucking disgusting that people are profiting off of this shit on a Karen Reed page. And Nick Rocco allowed this shit. I want to point that out. Okay. And I got a fucking problem with it. I fucking immediately took it down, and I bring up my concerns, and I'm told you can't talk to me anymore. Big court TV star. I can't fucking talk to him anymore. But anyway, and I'm not going to take my name off the page because I made that fucking page. Okay. Yeah. I'm not the initial. I guess he's the one that actually hit the create button because I was probably busy. I go make a page for me real quick. Go make a page for me, boy. Like go hook it up real quick. But now he thinks it's his fucking page. So he fucking runs it. Fuck him. Anyway, that's my rant about that. And I'm not going to take my name off the page because it's my fucking page. I made the fucking page. That page has nothing without me. And I'm not going to start a new page. It's too late. Anyway, that shirt was disgusting. And there's a lot of shit like that on there. No more Etsy shit. If you guys have an Etsy store, that's fine. Sell it on your own fucking page. Do not use the Turtle Boy Justice page to sell your shit. Yo, 10%'s going to Karen. I don't give a fuck. Karen Reed doesn't need your fucking the $20 you're making off of fucking t-shirts that you're donating. Dude, you got 100,000. Maybe she could use that because that's gonna, like, it ain't gonna fucking fix shit. The fucking $50 that you're donating off of your disgusting t-shirt sales. Okay, just if you want to donate $50, you fucking donate $50. You don't need to sell a bunch of fucking t-shirts to do that. God, I'm so sick of this shit. Oh, I'm so sick of the Etsy shit. No more Etsy. Anyway, that's my thoughts on that. All right, next one. I'm glad you guys agree that is disrespectful. Like, those shirts were disgusting. Oh. Anyway, Sean donates $10 and goes, can Bev allow one or two of the three, or is all three or none? I think she can. No, she can allow one or two or three. Absolutely. All right. Eileen sends $5 and goes, new to Turtletown. Appreciate your coverage of the Karen Reed trial. I appreciate that, Eileen. Welcome aboard. Justin sends $10 and goes, are Matt McCabe's teeth real, or are they veneers? I know we already read that one. Okay. Do I have any more here? Okay. Blanca sends $5 and goes, do you know why Paul doesn't sit next to his mom? I don't know. It's a million. I think he just wants to stare down Karen. He gets off on that. Jody sends $25, goes, all we do is win, 1 down, 2 to go. Turtle Boy, never forget you started this movement. The world is watching because of you. Free Karen Reed. Let's fucking go. 617. Yeah, we won on 617. How cool is that? It's the area code for Boston as well. So, yeah, that's how I feel, man. Celtics, Karen Reed, Turtle Boy. All we do is win. And that's what's going to happen. In 2 weeks, I would say, I'm going to make a guess right now. I say 2 weeks from today. 2 weeks from today, I think we're going to hear not guilty verdict. That's my official guess. Yeah. 2 weeks from today, I'm making my prediction, not guilty verdict. I think that the defense is going to start on Monday. They will go the entire week next week. I think Monday after that will be closing arguments. And I think Tuesday, deliberation. And I think that's going to be the day. 2 weeks from today is going to be the acquittal. I'm calling it right now, July 2nd, 2 weeks from today. And after that, I have a hearing on July 11th. Right? We have a Rule 17 hearing to get the fake victim's cell phone. And that's going to lead to a lot of good shit, I'm sure. A lot of conspiring to set me up. And then we have a whole other shit with all the McAlberts. And after think about this, dude. They're going to lose their thirst to go after me. Like, it's done. It's over. Like, this is the beginning of the end. Like, it's the same people. Think of this clown show we've all just watched. Do you think Michael Proctor wants to testify again? He'd have to testify again in my case and explain all this shit. Chris Albert, all of them, Colin Albert, all of them. They're all going to have to go again. It would be a disaster. Jen McCabe again. The 11th at what time? I have 2 hearings that day. One at 9 with the fake victim, I think, over in Dedham District, because that's for the violation of the restraining order when she came to court with Paul O'Keefe. and Jen McCabe and Chris Albert and kicked me out and incidentally came within 100 yards of me by doing so. Yeah. And then pretended and then lied and told the police afterwards that I yelled at her and called her a liar or some shit. Completely made up. We're going to set a trial date for that. We're going to trial with that one. I can't wait for that one. It's going to be awesome. I can't wait to win that. I cannot wait to show the world in a courtroom what a lying sack of shit this woman is. Just a lying piece of shit. We are going to completely vindicate me and show that I'm 1000% innocent. It's going to be dope. And then at 2:00, I think we have the other ones. So it's going to be good. It's going to be good. Okay. So that's that. All right. Next one. Steve-O sends 10 and goes, what's up with the rumors that Brian Albert was boning the wife of one of the guys under his command at the BPD? I don't know, but thank you for the dono. Nicole sends 50 and goes, I hereby decree that Auntie Bev is renamed to the Bevel. One lame joke, but I'm trying to help the Free Turtle Boy Fund, and the little anecdote was for my own entertainment purposes. I'm actually Nikki, but Cards calls me Nicole. Well, thank you very much, Nikki. Very, very, very witty. $10 for the little Irish girl. It says, Auntie Bev Alley, the world is watching. Hashtag justice for John O'Keefe, free Karen Reed. Journalism is not a crime. Love you, Doc. Thank you, little Irish girl. David sends $5. It goes, Tim B from Douglas has a man crush on Lieutenant Tully. Take that, Tim B. Stephanie sends $25 and goes, last night was funny. Free Karen Reed chant in your impression of Paul for me. Thanks for the laughs. I couldn't do it. I couldn't get the chant started. I ran out of juice. We were going to do it, though. We were going to do it. I chickened out. Mickey sends $25 and goes, the Sopranos reference to Jenny Sack made me laugh my ass off. Thanks for all you do. I hope to meet you at court soon. Love you, doctor. Meeting a lot of great people outside of the courthouse every day. I'll be meeting some more on Thursday for sure. Misty sends $5, says, Auntie Bev was so one-sided saying she will let you know her answer Thursday about the first expert doctor. That's more Karen will have to pay to keep that expert here. And the doctor even said she could only stay a couple days. Bev will allow it. Look like the good guy when she already knows the expert is only here a couple days. Seriously. Little Irish girl. Oh, no, I already got that one. Okay. Let me see if we have any more cash apps. Josh sends $5 and goes, what are the occupational plans after the case is over? For me, write a book, publish a book, do a tour, get my case thrown out, do the documentary, right? Get signed by a streaming service, obviously, knock on wood. Hopefully we get that done. And, sell the rights and keep it going, and then get justice for John. We got to get I have no control over that, but keep an eye on the FBI investigation. So thank you. 7-pounder sends $8 and goes, OG's still going to be around, Unc. Thanks, 7-pounder. Wendy sends $5 and goes, Bev is 𝗃𝗄𝗄𝗆 said Dr. R wanted clout, but not Paul. I know, seriously, we're going to get to that. Abby Bruce sends $8 and goes, did you see Sean's tweet about Paul? So good. Let's pull it up. I love a good Sean. Sean on the Gulf's back. He had a death in the family, but he is back. And he's on Twitter, at least. He hasn't done any streams ranting about Lanka or any of them. But let's see what he's saying on Twitter. Where is the is it the most recent one? Some of these are long. Oh, it's now time for Paul O'Keefe to have a long visit with Michael Morrissey. Then Paul needs to speak up man to man with Josh Levy. Paul, it's time to stop the bleeding, get the real story. You owe at least that. Remember the trooper who testified as to how your brother was killed? That in and of itself should be enough motivation for you, Paul, to realize that John meant nothing to them. Exactly. Colin Albert got more attention. Why does Jen McCabe matter? That's a great point, Sean. Like, they care way more about Jennifer McCabe and Colin Albert than they ever did about John O'Keefe, ever. Like, John O'Keefe is not one of them. The other two were. All these other people, Brian Albert, much more interested in protecting him. Much more. You know this is in your heart. It's not adding up. Do something. Take a stand now. If you don't, you'll never get through next week. Yeah, next week's going to be bad. Have them play all the voicemails you want. The nastier, the better. I'm sure Aaron has sent you a few in your heydays. It's a great point. It's a great point. You know, Aaron, okay. It's like, bro, all this shit is just going to be, we'll talk about the why these messages mean nothing shortly. We're going to have a good long show tonight, so buckle up. Then watch the Emmy talk about John, give her opinion, and show the gory autopsy photos. Then listen to her give the most embarrassing answer any Emmy can give in a murder investigation. I cannot conclude the manner of death. Then the Commonwealth will rest. If you're lucky, Bev will spare you the pain and announce a directed verdict of not guilty. If not, the true story will be told by the defense as to how your brother was brutally murdered. They know they don't have to. It's your choice, brother. Exactly. I hope he realizes that. Like, dude, you have surrounded yourself, dude, by shitty people who are only interested in protecting themselves. They are using you, brother. You are a useful tool to them. They are so happy that they have the O'Keefes on their side. That is the best thing that ever happened to them. They are using you, brother. You can hate Karen Reed all you want. You can hate me all you want. But those motherfuckers are using you, Paul, and they are loving it. They are loving it. And I know you took offense when I called you stupid. I'm sorry, Paul. I didn't mean to call you stupid. I thought, whatever, okay? I'll own that one. Sorry, not sorry. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, though, Paul, you got to get over it. Your hatred for me, your hatred for Karen Reed, bro, they are fucking over your brother, son. You're all he's got left, dude. You're all he's got left. Your poor dad doesn't look, you know what I mean? Let's go. So, yeah, okay. Did I have other cash apps here? Nicole sends $5. The audacity of Bev and Lally to qualify experts, but not Paul. Exactly, but not Paul. Insane. Brendan sends 25. Thanks, doctor. Thanks, doctor, for everything you do. My pleasure, Brendan. Thank you. Carolyn sends $5. Can you please share the Bish video on Twitter? Done. Thank you. Michael sends $10 and goes $15. Abolish corrupt state police. Call Governor Healy. Yeah, she should probably do something about this. Jamie sends $5 and goes, were there any rips where John O'Keefe's wounds are on the hoodie? Not sure. Amanda sends $5 and goes, is AJ the main attorney and yet Yannetti secondary? There really is none. Yannetti was hired first, and then Alan and Liza were brought in as a team about probably 7 or 8 months later. Catherine sends $5 and goes, has Officer John O'Keefe's father been in court? Sporadically, not very long. Thank you, Catherine. Sean sends 25 and goes, thank you for all you do from a random fucking citizen of Canton. Thank you very much, Sean. Great guy. Amanda sends $10 and goes, free Karen Reed, Trump 2024. Ooh, I don't want to get too political or anything on here, but if I was a betting man, I mean, he's going to win. So there's that. But all right, cool. All right, cool. If anyone else wants to donate, I will refresh that in a moment. I'll keep refreshing later on and read them. You can click at the link at the top for Turtle Chat, or you can cash at me at $, Uncle Turtle Boy. We can do it that way. Give me 1 second. I got to take a leak and make sure my daughter is, I got to make sure she's doing all right. So give me, what should I play in the meantime? Give me a 1 minute break here. I just take care of that. Let me find, you know what? Let's just play it. Fuck it.
I'll call this Bang Bang. Seriously? I will fuck you up. I will beat your ass. I will fuck you up. Pull up, bitch. I will fuck you up. I will beat your ass. I will fuck you up.
Objection.
I will fuck you up. KO. Bang bang. I will fuck you up. You're a bitch, bro. I will fuck you up. I will beat your ass. I will fuck you up. Right?
Yeah.
The bang bang, the bang bang, pull up. The bang bang, the bang bang, pull up. Right?
Yeah.
The bang bang, the bang bang. Pull up, the bang bang, the bang bang.
Mr. Lally, your next witness, please.
Yes, Your Honor, the call multi-call Trooper Michael Proctor to the stand. Please state your name and spell your last name for the jury.
Michael Proctor, 𝗺𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃.
You're a bitch, bro. I will fuck you up.
You're a bitch, bro. You're a bitch, bro. That never gets old. Okay, cool. All right. Let's go back to it. So let's real quick about this Ian Wiffin loser. Oh my God. The trolls have nothing, man. All they got is Ian Wiffin. Like, that's it, bro. That's it. That's all you got. It's not, I mean, this guy sucks. Ian Wiffin is a loser, an absolute loser who, by the way, makes it very clear that he's not representing 𝗃𝗏 with some of the things he's saying. Like, he's got his own side gig, which I don't even understand how 𝗃𝗏 allows that. Shouldn't this guy have a non-compete? This dude's full of himself. And all you need to know about this guy and 𝗃𝗏𝗃𝗏 𝗧𝘂𝗍, which the defense, I'm wondering why they didn't ask this, if they just forgot or they're winning by so much, it doesn't matter. But I would just ask, how did they find you? Because the Commonwealth asks their witnesses that. How'd they find you? How did they find 𝗃𝗏𝗃𝗏 𝗧𝘂𝗍 and Ian Wiffin? This dude who's from Alberta, Canada, has some blog that nobody reads. He has an app which has 2 reviews on it, one of which is from him. And he got up there and talk about boring, man. And the gist of it, nobody knows what the hell he's saying. And it's like his job was to make Jennifer McCabe not look like a murderer, like make it look like she didn't Google that. But where'd they find him? Like, how many other people did they have to go through before they found this guy? And who found him? Adam Lally and Michael Morrissey they didn't find this guy. Who found this guy? Where did he come from? Where did they find this dude? Of all, this guy's the only guy that knows anything about 𝗃𝗏𝗃𝗏. You know, where did they find him? And why on April 20th, I've said it before, I'll say it again. On April 20th, the District Attorney's 2023, the District Attorney's Office, 2 days after I wrote my story, said that we will have a response to the Google search, and it's not what it seems. We're going to rebut it. How are they so sure that it wasn't what it seemed? They didn't have an expert at the time to rebut it. That was their way of saying, give us some time. We're going to find someone. And they did. 5 months later, they found 𝗃𝗏𝗃𝗏𝗃𝗏. And then they find this schmuck a year later. And this guy's like an expert. Like somehow, like these guys just get to be experts. So let's listen to this. I'm going to listen to some of this guy.
First column shows the local time of a record that was written to the history database. This is a database which is tracking all web pages which are loaded as you use them. The second column starts with the URL, so the Uniform Resource Locator, so what you would type in or how the browser knows which website you want to visit. The title is part of the website which is loaded. One of the top attributes of the website will load the title. Visit count relates to an internal counter within Safari, which just tracks how many times a particular website is visited.
Okay.
Database.
You used another term in there as far as a SQLite database. If you could explain to the jury what your understanding of that term is based on your training.
Yeah, a SQLite database, essentially, it's a series of tables. It's a way for data to be stored, again, in a meaningful, organized fashion that can be queried, can be examined, can be filtered, searched, etc. It can be useful for anybody who wants to get data from an organized file.
Now, with reference to the searches that you observed within this particular web history, what, if any, relationship did the contiguous identifiers sort of range? What, if anything, did that tell you?
I'm sorry, can you rephrase that?
What, if any, observations did you make as far as those contiguous identifiers in the range they had in relation to the web history that you observed?
Okay, so within the history.db file, there were no missing numbers from the beginning of January, essentially, until...
Yeah, like Matt McCabe is a tech guy. Like, people forget that. He owns his own, like, tech company. Did they find this guy? Who found this guy? Because, you know, Michael Morrissey and Adam Lally would not know what the fuck to do. Like, those guys don't know anything. How are those guys going to find anything? It makes me think that I wonder if Matt and Jen McCabe had something to do with tracking down this schmuck. Like, oh, we found a guy. He's got this charming accent. Let's get him on there. He seems smart.
early February. That told me as an examiner that no records have been deleted during that time.
May I approach again, Your Honor?
Yes.
And like what's his educational background? Does this guy have an associate's degree too? Is he another one? He's literally selling his stupid app. That's what this whole thing is about.
Thank you.
This guy found them. Is that true?
I do, yes.
What do you recognize that?
This is the browser state record, which identified a search at 2:27:40 a.m.
May I approach again, Your Honor?
Yes.
Almost. We have no objection.
Thank you.
May I return to the witness, Your Honor?
Yes.
Permission may be published to the jury.
Yes.
Counselor, directing your attention to the screen, is that what you have before you as an exhibit?
It is, yes.
And if you could explain to the jury, looking at it in this exhibit, what any information you're able to sort of glean as a forensic examiner with relation.
Okay, so this is a search item exhibit. It's technically a derivative of a different exhibit that we find on the device. So we found what we consider a web history record. So a web history record would just mean we have a URL that was visited and potentially a timestamp and a title. Searched items looks at all of the web history items that we found and tries to identify were these actually searches that were conducted. So for example, if you were to do a search on Google, you'd see that the website that you're taken to is google.com query, then it contains the query string that you've typed.
This is all I need to know is like I look at this and it says Google, it says how long to die in cold, 227, it's deleted. Done. I don't need to hear this guy.
We extract that information, we extract that query and provide it to the user as a search item. In this case, I can see that it came from the browser state.db WAL file. The search query itself was how long to die in cold, and it shows as a deleted record.
Now, with respect, I think you used a couple of different terms within that as far as a knowledge C database. Can you explain to the jury what that is?
I don't recall saying knowledge C, but I can explain what knowledge C is in this case. Yes, the knowledge C database is at the heart of iOS. It stores lots of information about the activity on the device at any given time. Things like when the backlight's turned on, when the device is on.
I guess alluding to what you just said.
As is presented on the screen there. And then I converted that and subtracted 5 hours to bring it into local time around Canton.
Now,
I mean,
it just sits kind of waiting to load. Again, the timestamps are within a second.
Oh, so this is the shit she Googled. All I need to know about this that she Googled here is on February 1st, she Googles John O'Keefe. And then his obituary on February 2nd. And then she Googles herself. This narcissist Googles herself on February 2nd. Like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? BPD and John O'Keefe, right? She Googled Raining Men, all right.
This list was non-exhaustive. There was hundreds of examples within the history.db, but limited examples with. Yeah, so from my research based on this.
This is so boring.
Selected recess 140.
Okay, so then recess.
And when you recognize that?
This is the live records from the browser state.db.
Okay.
The records are recovered from multiple versions of the same page.
All right, then when they show this, and I'm looking at it, and it says very clearly here that at 2:27, she Googled how long to die in cold. Like, that's it. That's all I need to know. There's nothing. And then at 10:33, she Googled ozone basketball. What?
There was actually 16 versions of this record, state activity and web usage activity. It's all recorded as part of knowledge C.
Your view of the extraction of the device around these times, were you able to ascertain as to what time this particular device connected to Wi-Fi?
Oh my
Frame
God.
is the same as a page, but with additional information. 2:27:31 and 2:27:40. There were 5 records within browser state DB that had a timestamp within that 9 seconds.
Dude, all this shit, nobody's paying attention, dude. I mean, what were they thinking? Let's do a 4-hour fucking presentation with this dude. Like, I've seen the jury's faces. No one's fucking paying attention, dude. No one understands this. Is this going to be on the quiz? Dude, all they know is it says it right there, 2:27. How long to die in cold? It says deleted. I don't fucking know what this guy's talking about. Like, what is this guy talking about? Shut up. Shut up. I just want to smack him. Like, shut up, dude. We get it. You like the sound of your own voice. They're paying you to be here right now, obviously, right? Like, you're not doing this for free. They obviously flew you out here for this bullshit to defend Jennifer McCabe. The amount of money that's gone into protecting Jennifer McCabe is insane.
Completely different types of website, ranging from PayPal.
Okay. So
Kind of report that. And Your Honor, with what permission, make public.
31399, 31400, 31401, and 31402. These were all accessed on the afternoon of the 27th of January 2022.
Okay.
May I approach again, Your
Yes.
Or hostile affidavit.
Honor? And what issues are those?
Namely, it specified that 𝗪𝗿 report identified that the search was conducted at 227.40. And as I've explained, I believe the tab took focus at 227 tool. And the feature which...
and so this is his app here, ArtX. He made an app. He wants you to download his app. You'd be the first.
Continuously use this tool for, which is not available really in any other vendor tools, is the ability to create a live connection between my computer and the phone. The live connection is what I've just started here, and what's going to happen is all of the files and folders that exist on the phone will be mapped to my computer so that I can navigate it. I can look around and I can take a look at search for the time right now. 1442. What I can do is go back to my RTX tool and press this reload button. That's going to delete the database from my computer only and copy the most recent copy of the database and WAL file from.
Okay. And David United's basically
So
like...
you had spoken a little bit about what was your assignment here in terms of...
compares himself
the
to
data that was
Elon.
sent to you.
I wasn't
believe
even listening.
That you testified regarding that 2:27 a.m. or 2:27 and 42nd a.m. timestamp that it didn't make sense to the investigators, correct?
Correct.
Were you told that one of the investigators was Trooper Michael Proctor?
I don't recall any names being mentioned. The ticket came to me, or the request came to me via another 𝗪𝗿 employee who'd been asked about this case and asked whether we could offer any help.
Okay, thank you. You would agree with me that when you're making or doing a simulation, you want it to be as close to an apples-to-apples comparison as you can get?
As best possible, yes.
And to get truly accurate research results, you want to eliminate as many variables as you can, correct?
Correct.
You wouldn't, for instance, want to use an Android operating system to try to replicate the activity from Jennifer McCabe's Apple iPhone, correct?
Correct.
What version of iOS did you use for your testing of Jennifer McCabe's data?
So this test has been undertaken on various different versions of iOS, from iOS 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and most recently on the beta version of 18 last week. This particular demonstration was on 15.8.2.
Okay. And you're aware, I believe it's 15.8.2.
Correct. I've also tested on 15.7.
Oh, fair enough. You're aware, however, that Ms. McCabe was using iOS version 15.2.1, correct?
Correct.
And you would agree that the way that an artifact is stored would depend on the iOS version that you use, correct?
Correct.
And your simulation did not use the iOS version that Ms. McCabe was running on her iPhone, correct?
Correct. I used the closest version I could find.
So I'd like to ask you some questions about the characteristics of 𝗺𝗵𝗏𝗺 and record number 4028.
Okay.
That record number, I believe you testified, was found to be deleted, correct?
Correct.
But you were able to recover the date and time associated with it, correct?
The date and time of the last viewed?
Of that record number.
Yes.
And what was that date and time?
2:27 and 40 seconds a.m.
You were also able to recover the content of that particular Google search itself?
I was able to recover the URL for it, yes.
Okay, and what was that Google search?
Hostel long to die in the cold.
And it's true, however, that the session history could not be recovered, correct?
That's correct.
Now, given those characteristics that you just discussed, did your testing result in a WAL file record, a WAL file record, that matched the characteristics of 4028? In other words, deleted with session history not recovered?
The issue with the session history, I was able to recover only the first page of session history. What happens is when there's a large amount of data that's split over multiple pages, if it's a live record, all those pages point to each other so that you can chain it together and get one large amount of information. Once they've been deleted, some of those pages can be overwritten and therefore the pointers don't make sense anymore. So the amount of information in this session was...
All right. So anyway, I can't even listen to this dude. It's all so pointless, man. Let's get to the Guarino shit real quick and then we'll talk about the experts today. It's getting late. All right. I can't listen to this dude anymore. All right. So I'm going to bring up the Guarino stuff. We're just going to jump right to the text messages. Now, the big thing that they have are the trolls are just waiting for the voicemails. Oh, are we going to get the voicemails? Yeah, like Sean the Gull said, like, dude, they're gonna be bad. Like, they're not bad. They're gonna be like Karen's, be like, you're a fucking asshole. You're gonna hear a lot of that shit on there. Like, you're a fucking pervert. I think she's gonna call him in one of them. Like, yeah, who gives a shit? All that does is prove she's innocent. Like, the trolls are gonna be like, oh my, wait for the Julie Grant tweet. Oh my god, horrific. She was so angry at him. Oh my god, like, shut the fuck up, Julie Grant. Go get some more Botox. Go overdose on Botox, you pig. You disgusting looking. Oh, you freaking joke. Again, it's okay to hate on people like this because they're assholes. Like, they're supporting something evil. John DePetro supporting something evil. Like, I'll never look at that guy the same way again. He's a freaking loser, a liar. He's a professional liar. He's lying every day he's in that courtroom about what he's seeing. He's no different from Grant. He's no different. And so they're going to talk they're going to be loving this shit. The voicemails, doesn't matter. If Karen Reed actually killed John O'Keefe, she would not be saying like, you're a fucking asshole. I fucking hate you. It's the last thing she'd be saying, man. The last thing she'd be saying. So, they play the text messages, and I don't know if these are supposed to make it look bad, but let's see.
Now, with respect to what's up on the screen, to what's contained on this page one at the bottom.
Hello, hi, okay.
Mr. O'Keefe's phone is consistent with the material contained in the defendant's phone, correct?
You just lashed out at me and said terrible things. I don't know how you've gone to this point with me, but I'm just trying my hardest. You made the point, I made your point, and continue to beat me down. I have a lot going on too. Physically, I'm falling apart and trying to get answers and help.
If I can stop you there, sir. If I can direct your attention to.
Like, I don't think they make either look bad. Like they make.
Sir, if I can direct you to page 5.
Okay.
I'm sorry, bottom of page 4.
All right.
And starting with the blue bubble on the bottom of page 4 again. If you
Maybe you can call someone. Okay.
Things in my own life have been difficult too, you know. John writes back 2:17. I know.
Okay.
At 2:25 p.m. Tell me if you're interested in someone else. Can't think of any other reason you've been like this. From Karen.
Continue on page 8, sir.
At 2:25, John responds back. Nope. Things haven't been great between us for a while. Ever consider that? That was at 2:26. At 2:29, he writes, kids are here, not in the mood to talk.
And how does the defendant respond to that at the bottom of page 8?
So you're not into it anymore. That's fine. But I don't want to keep trying, and you keep treating me like this.
Where's the bad part?
If I could direct you to the next page 9.
Why don't you just admit you're not into it so much anymore?
Okay.
With us.
If you could, sir, please continue on to the top of page 10.
Okay. At 2:32 p.m., sick of always arguing and fighting. It's been weekly for several months now. So yeah, I'm not as quick to jump back into being lovey-dovey as you apparently. From John.
Okay.
And then John again at 2:32. Oh my God, stop calling.
Okay.
Stop you there for just a moment, sir. With regard to January 28th,
Like nothing about this is odd, dude. You could go through my phone and find very similar messages. I mean, like I've been treated much worse than this. Like, oh my God. If anything ever happened to me, the fake victim would be in jail for life, cooked. These messages are tame, I tell you.
you were also able to extract a report specifically in regard to calls received by Mr. O'Keefe on that day.
Yes, I was.
I mean, on that date into the next date of January 29th.
Yes.
I approach Ron.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, from 20th at 9:19 a.m. to the 29th at 6:03 a.m.
May I approach Ron?
Yes.
I'm also seeking to introduce the next exhibit. Okay. And I'm showing you another document. Just ask you to do that when we finish. May I approach again, Your Honor?
Yeah.
Calls from 9:19 to about 2:59 p.m.
Those calls are listed within those records as various as far as rejected, or missed, or answered, or things of that nature. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
How many of them are rejected?
11.
How many of them are missed?
Ready?
4.
And how many are answered?
3.
There you go. They're going to be like, how many of them are rejected? 11? Was that? I thought this was interesting. Hold on.
That's correct.
How many of them are rejected?
11.
How many of them are missed?
4.
So she calls him 15 times. 11 times he rejects it. 4 times he just doesn't answer it. And then what?
How many are answered?
3.
3. So John O'Keefe likes playing games. Like, that's what that tells me right there. John O'Keefe likes playing games. He likes to make her work for it a little bit. I see what he's doing here. I've been there before. Who hasn't been there before? They're playing games. Like, yeah, the relationship was not the best, okay? Obviously, it could have been a lot better. It could have been a lot better. But give me a break. You know how the fact that he's answering the phone at all, it's just, that tells you. So he's rejecting it, 11 rejections, 3 answers. So for every 4 calls, he picks up once. John O'Keefe likes playing games. That's what that tells me right there. He makes her work for it. Oh, she calls 4 times. You know why she keeps calling? Because she knows he's going to answer it eventually. That's why she keeps calling. She's like, okay, he didn't answer it. Okay. Call again. Didn't answer it. And I agree. It's not a good cycle to get in, but I've been in these cycles before, man. And again, I've been in cycles with unnamed cycle bitches, right? They like it. Some of them are like, they like that. Like she would tell me, like, I like it when you call like 10 times. Like I like to make you work for it. Like it's like fucking sick. And now I shouldn't play into it. I shouldn't be like, fuck you. You get one call. That's it. You don't answer, whatever. But maybe I liked crazy at the time. You know what I mean? Like maybe you're a little bit attracted to crazy. Maybe you like to chase a little bit. And that seems to be what's going on here. Okay. I've been in these games before, right? John O'Keefe was playing games with Karen Reed. That's what this tells me, that he's making her work for it. If he didn't want to talk to her, he wouldn't answer at all. He would just dump. John O'Keefe could have just been like, no, Karen, it's not working out. Take your shit, get the fuck out. I didn't see anything like that in the messages. I saw the back and forth. Exactly. There's no baby. Like nobody knows crazy like me. Like I've been so attracted to crazy over the years. Not anymore. I'm reformed now. I'm into normal now. Right. But previously I was attracted to crazy. And this is what crazy does. Crazy gets you in these cycles. And then you get drawn into the crazy. You know what I mean? You're like, oh, she likes to make me work for it a little bit. You know what I mean? Bitches be tripping. She likes to make me work for it. And then you look on paper afterwards and you're like, oh shit. And then she'll show her friends a screen. Oh, he called me 8 times in a row. Yeah, bitch, but you picked up the 9th. That was the whole point, right? Like that was the point. You wanted me to I got a little bit crazy because you got a little bit crazy too. We both got crazy. We fed into each other's craziness. That's what was going on in this relationship, right? He's making her work for it. You know, usually it's the other way around. Usually it's the girl who's making the guy work for it, you know, but this one's a little different. John was making her work for it because he would answer. The fact that he answered 3 times, that's all you need to know. He did not have to answer. He could have ended things whenever he wanted, but he liked it too. He liked the back and forth. You know what I mean? He liked it.
Now, following that,
exactly.
Text message at 2:32
And that's
p.m.
exactly it. That's exactly it. And then they fix it by fucking. Like that's it. Just you really can make man. You know how we can fix this? Let's fuck. Let's go. Like that's how it always gets fixed. There's a big fallout here. It's like, yeah. Oh, don't yell at me. Oh, I like it when you yell at me. Oh, you yelling at me? Oh, I like that. Then that's how it starts. Does it not? I mean, I've seen this before. I know how this one ends.
Mr. O'Keefe, the defendant, asking her to stop calling him. Does the defendant keep calling?
Yes, she does.
And at some point, does Mr. O'Keefe call Ms. Reed back?
Yes, at about 3
Yeah,
p.m.
they're planning vacations too. Exactly.
Thanks. May I approach her?
Yes.
I can take each of the call.
And like what? Like John at any point could have ended things with Karen Reed, but he didn't. Why? What did they call her? What did Jen McCabe call her? The babysitter with benefits? Keyword benefits. Like, oh no, keyword babysitter actually. Like that was working out well. So like, yeah, John O'Keefe, awesome guy, human. You know what I mean? Human. Like he was getting a good deal out of Karen Reed. She was a babysitter. Was she not? She was taking care of his kids, doing a lot of shit. Like he's getting drunk, you know, out having a good time, going out. And she's the one that went home, man. She's the one that went home to his kids and was there for his kids. Can you blame her for the texts? All of those fucking texts and angry voicemails are justified. If he was out partying, like they're all justified, all of them. Fucking bullshit.
Okay.
Now, if I can turn your attention back to page 10 on the text message with respect.
Okay, so Mr. Lally, when you put your head down and your voice.
Followed up by 2:33. You're setting me up to fail.
You're setting me up to
If I
fail.
can turn your
Okay.
attention to page 11 and ask, how does the defendant respond to that?
You're
So
not
you're not into this anymore. And then John says, not into fighting all the time. Correct. That's at 2:30.
Yes, you are, John. I'm not into fighting all the time. Correct. You say that, but you kind of are. Like, again, I've been down this road before too. It's like you say you're not into fighting, but yet you're still here. You know what I mean? Like you're not going anywhere. So you're still kind of into fighting. Like you're into it, John. Come on.
4 p.m.
If I can turn your attention to the top of
file?
Yes, 234. Ms. Reed says, if you tell me you're interested in someone else, you will never hear from me again.
See, it seems she wanted it more. No, Jennifer. He had hand. This is a Seinfeld reference. He had hand. Like he got, you see what I'm saying? He was making her work for it. He was the dominant one in the relationship, getting her to work for it. She was the pathetic one. That's, I mean, no offense to Karen, if she's watching, like, right? I mean, you kept calling, like, it's like he got Karen Reed to dance the way he wanted her to dance, period.
And you can have all the space in the world. John writes back that there's no content at 234. And then at 234, she says, then stop starting with me.
How does Mr. O'Keefe respond to that?
At 234, he writes back, I'm not answering, stop calling.
Stop, but
And
he
if you
wants,
could-
I'm not answering, stop calling. And then he picks up, doesn't he? He's like, because some people enjoy that, man. Like, oh, she keeps calling. Yeah, she wants me, huh? Yeah, I can have her if I want, but I'm going to make her work for it a little more.
If I could turn your attention to the top of page 13.
Ms. Reed says, can you please answer after how you treated me earlier? John responds back at 235, Kaylee is right here. Ms. Reed says, you're starting a rage with me out of nowhere, and then you tell me you're sick of fighting with me at 235. She writes at 238, I'm going to grab a drink in a bit.
If I could direct you to the top
40, seeing if you want to meet me later. Can you please call me
Then they want to meet
right after that?
Okay, so big fight.
Again, if I could direct you to the
Do
top
you want to
of
meet
page
later?
John writes back at 240, have to take him to the doctor, he has practice. Ms. Reed writes back, yeah, 5 minutes. John writes back at 243, back, I'm there when anyone else needs me at 244. At 246, yes, John, you gave me utter grief this morning, but fly off the handle at 8 a.m. with me, like you're setting me up to fail.
Start reading from the top of page 40.
At 7:41 p.m., Karen writes, okay, let me know if you end up leaving.
Watch this.
John writes back at 7:42, why? Now you're not coming?
Why? Now you're not coming, he says. So John's in this abusive relationship and this woman's crazy. And she's like, nah, I'm good. And he's like, oh, you're not coming? He likes playing the game. He likes playing the game. He's like, I was just making you work for it a little bit, you know? Dude, come on. John was the dominant one in this relationship. John had hand. John could get bitches left and right. And he knew that he could make this woman a little jealous, right? And, you know, that she's staying around. She's useful, you know? It's better to have her around than not have her around, right? She looks good. Got her shit together. What's not to like? What's not to like? But come on. The fact that he said that right there about, oh, you're not coming? Why? I thought he hated her. Now he's just like, wait a minute. You're not, why? You're not coming? Why don't you want to come? Oh, you're not coming? He liked, exactly. I saw right there. He liked being chased. Who doesn't? Who doesn't like the chase? It's like, it feels good. They're like, just chase, she wants me, you know?
Karen writes back, I'm waiting for the plumber. Actually think he's in the driveway, 7:42.
I'm waiting to
John says 7:43, we're taking Mike's car, so I'm relying on you for a ride home if he leaves.
Or, oh, we need a ride. We need a ride, Karen. We're getting shit-faced tonight. We need a ride. Can't Uber. You know, me and Mike Camerano, we're going to get housed. So we need help.
Karen writes back at 7:43. He's not going home after. John writes back at 7:43, 8 on a Friday. He may have to get Michael. And you have a plumber coming over at 8. Knowing me and Papa could have handled it. Good luck.
And then he tells him that. How about that one? Where he's like, oh, you have a plumber coming over? Why don't you call me? I would have come over and done it. He's volunteering to come over and fix her pipes. I've seen a lot of pornos that start that way. And he's inviting her to come over and pick. He's like, you don't want me to come over and fix your pipes? I thought he hated her. I thought he wanted nothing to do with her.
It was a 7:44.
Thank you, sir. If I could direct your attention to page 49.
Okay.
If I could ask you to start from the page 49, sir.
8:29 p.m. Yeah, but he lives right down the road. John writes back at 8:30. Karen, this storm is going to be intense. Can't drive.
Yeah.
8:30. She writes back, okay, well, if he can't, he can't. John writes back, I'll do it Monday. Karen responds at 8:31. I better not still have this problem on Monday. John writes back, plan on being there.
I mean, this is so
Karen writes back at 8:32. I'd like to know, I can take a hot shower here if I need to. John writes back, figured you'd be in Canton until Monday.
I figured you'd be in Canton till Monday. So he wants her to sleep out. That was the plan. He hates her so much. You stay over for 3 nights.
If I could direct you to the top of next page, 51.
Probably a year now. And John writes back at 8:33. Blizzard tomorrow. Nobody is going anywhere.
Sir, if I could direct you to the top of page 52.
Okay. Karen says, maybe I'll come back late tonight. Bad snow is in the early a.m. That's at 8:35. And again, 8:35. I'll head up there.
55 a.m., is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And if I could direct your attention to the top of page 52.
Okay, so here we go. 12:55. So this is after she allegedly killed him. At 12:55, she texts him and goes, I'm going home. Because remember, she drove him there. She sat outside. He never called her back. And she's like, what the fuck? So she's back home with his kid. And she's like, I'm just going home, John. In the middle of a blizzard, too. She's like, I don't want to get stuck here all weekend with your fucking drunk ass. Like, I'm good. I'm going to go home and, call the plumber up. Maybe do a cuckold. I don't know. We'll see.
Yes. 12:55 again. See
you later.
At 1:02.
Again, your kids are fucking alone. So there's 3 in a row. Your kids are fucking alone. Like, notice what is her biggest concern. His kids. Your kids are alone, John. You left your fucking kids alone. These are not text messages you send to somebody if you think they're dead. These are text messages you send to somebody if you're pissed that you left them with your fucking kids. I mean, it's just so obvious to anyone.
Your kids are cucking alone. 1:29.
How about this
1:04 a.m. I'm back in Mansfield. The kids are home alone.
So this is like fucking idiots. Like John DePetro's like, oh, this is a lie. Bombshell. Why is she lying about this? Motherfucker, do I really have to explain this to you? Do I really have to explain this to you? Do I need to tell you why she said this? Because she's trying to get his attention, stupid. Because she thinks if John's not responding to my other text messages, that's the 4th one in a row now she's sending. Your kids are fucking alone. Maybe if I tell him I'm gone, that'll get his ass over here because Kaylee can't be alone. Oh, can't say her name. They fucking, by the way, we couldn't say this girl's name. It's like a fucking federal crime if you say this girl's name. They're fucking entering into evidence in the fucking text messages. Oh my God. And by the way, with that too, I think more about how they allowed those kids to testify. That's how you know the 𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃 are pieces of shit. That's how you know Peggy and Paul are trash. That they allowed those 2 kids to testify. I was in court that day. Paul was standing up. Paul and Aaron were standing in the freaking jury. The boy was sitting in the box and they're talking to him, like coaching him up. It's going to be okay, blah, blah, blah. And what kind of uncle does something like that? Get that kid fucking out of there. What good did that do? How did that help him? I mean, that one, I'm back in Mansfield now. She wasn't really. She was seeing if that could get his attention. That's all that was.
Thanks. Can I approach you with
Yeah. Are there more texts after
that? They are chats between Karen Reed and Jen McCabe, text messages. And 95 is Karen Reed.
Jerry, you know what? I'm going to send you home.
Okay. So that we'll start with that on Thursday. Now, let's do a quick talk about the experts today. I want to play this real quick. I know it's getting late. It's getting a little bit late, but we got to play some of this because we missed. This fucking show flies by, huh? Let's play some of what happened today.
She testified. The interview, the report, and the completion of the report were all done before her testimony.
Do you need to call her again?
That's not my, and I think the court understands. That's not my point. My point is not I need to call Jennifer McCabe back. I've done the damage that needs to be done on Jennifer McCabe.
What a line that was. What a line that was. Do you need to call Jennifer McCabe back? No. We've done the damage we need to do with her. What a boss line. What a boss line.
The point is,
I'm sorry, I missed that. You've what?
I've done the damage that needed to be done on Jennifer McCabe. I don't need to call her back. The point is that what's good for the goose is good for the gander. The Commonwealth doesn't get to stand in the position of piecemealing and feeding us information, reports, discovery throughout the course of the trial. And by the way, when we then got seminal information about an expert that we did not know about, never met, never heard of, within 3 days of that, we provide everything that we have about that witness to the Commonwealth. They can't then turn around and say, oh, well, it's all the defense's fault.
All right, so let's bring out this lady.
Which means
Marie Russell.
Name for the record.
Yes, Marie Russell, RUSSELL.
And I'm going to echo what the court just indicated. The air conditioners are on, so please keep your voice as elevated as possible and speak. Maneuver the microphone.
She explains her whole background. She's a former cop, apparently in Malden, a medical professional, has worked with hundreds of dog bites over the years. She knows all about animal attacks. Like, this is her specialty.
Okay.
She's a doctor.
Dr. Russell, what do you do for a living?
I am a retired emergency physician and forensic pathologist.
And tell me, attending to patients?
I was a trainee, so I was seeing as many patients as we could. There was always a
in the very, very expansive jail system in Los Angeles County.
So
okay, I'm going to skip forward to
grand
that.
jury testimony from the medical examiner in this case.
Those injuries.
Those injuries appear to be consistent with an animal attack.
That's all you need to know.
In terms of the type of animal?
That's all you
or
need
are
to know.
relegated to simply an animal attack?
Well, they are consistent with a large dog attack. There's a combination of both what I consider bite wounds and scratch wounds on the arm.
Yep.
There were also some puncture wounds in that.
And puncture
shirt.
wounds.
And I'm sorry, puncture wounds in the shirt?
In the
puncture
shirt.
holes in the shirt.
And what do you base the opinion that the injuries are consistent with dog bite or scratch marks?
Well, the patterns. There are several patterns of parallel wounds that appear to be superficial scratches that could have been caused by nails or could have been caused by teeth. There are different angles on the arm and different locations on the arm, and but they're generally oriented in a specific direction. And there's also an area, the distal forearm, which is close to the wrist, which shows what I believe is an arch area of teeth marks.
So they're going to look at the picture.
Separate exhibit, yes.
One of the three has already been marked.
There's no objection, Mr. Lally.
Two of the three have not been marked. I'll as soon as medical report is ready. Reviewed and coming to your opinions and conclusions.
Yes.
I want to ask you a couple of questions about this. There should be a laser pointer on the desk.
Okay.
Can you explain to the jurors what it is about the injuries that assisted you in coming to your opinion and conclusion that this is from an animal attack?
Okay, there's several patterns here. So, for instance, let's look here, right near the elbow, the exterior part of the elbow. There's these two linear marks, which appear to be from upper teeth, and two punctures below those, which are superficial.
I love how she
meaning they
is showing the exact. Well, again, I want to rewind that.
Teeth and two punctures below. Let's look here, right near the elbow, the exterior part of the elbow. There's these two linear marks, which appear to be from upper teeth, and two punctures below those, which are superficial, meaning they didn't go very deep into the skin, but they appear from the lower teeth. So that's one pattern.
So this is one. So that's interesting. This is a upper teeth, lower teeth. Okay.
There's another pattern close to the shoulder, which shows parallel marks. These two, and maybe a third one in the middle. Parallel marks that are oriented at a certain angle, and these are superficial wounds, which are consistent with teeth marks. They also could be possibly consistent with nail marks, but
hold on.
With what?
Nails from cloth. Yes, we have some more here, similar from obviously different teeth involved or different claws, and then over down here, closer to the wrist, we have an unusual pattern of at least 4 striations, the way I see it, at least 4 striations that I believe are caused from the teeth towards the front of the mouth, near the arch. It appears that there's an arch pattern here. So,
in a dog attack or in an animal attack, in your experience, let me take this one down. Let's cover the ground on the 3 exhibits that we've already marked. Can we take a look at exhibit 1?
What does Paul think of that? Who was looking at that?
Is this just a may I publish on? Yes, I apologize. Is this just a close-up of the same injuries?
Yes.
And do these appear to be consistent with what you just testified to in terms of teeth or claw marks, especially as it relates to the area closest to elbow?
Yes.
And then looking at exhibit 3. May I publish?
Yeah.
The area closer to the wrist that indicated those parallel. You used the word.
What else could have caused these wounds? Before coming to my conclusion, and
bruising, soft tissue injuries.
Oh yes.
How did that play into your opinion?
Well, so
𝗃𝗍𝗄 did that.
Of course, I considered what else could have caused these wounds. Before coming to my conclusion, and so I wanted to rule out other things, and there were no significant major bodily injuries outside the head. There was nothing. There were no fractures of the long bones, the chest, the pelvis, the arms. So yeah. So having seen hundreds and hundreds of car accident victims and people hit by cars, I ruled that out very quickly.
Okay. And in terms of
having seen hundreds of car accident victims. I ruled that out quickly. Wow. Quickly. Like stupid. That's obviously not a car accident. I ruled it out.
The injuries that you could see, especially as they're attended to the arm, based on everything that we discussed today, is it your opinion, based on a reasonable degree of scientific certainty, that those injuries are consistent with an animal attack as opposed to a motor vehicular pedestrian incident?
Yes.
Thank you.
There we go.
right,
Now,
Mr. Lally?
Lally is gonna. There we go.
Police training that you had received when you were in the academy or while you were working with the police department.
Lally
in Massachusetts,
tries
is that right?
owner.
Yes.
Okay, what kind of training did
Boy
what did that
mean.
training consist of?
Well, I attended and graduated from the standard police academy at that time. Subjects that are
Training consist
mechanisms of how accidents
He's great.
occur, mechanisms of how to determine, what vehicle was involved in an accident. There, I don't, it was a long.
And I don't mean to belittle this training whatsoever, but is it fair to say that that was relatively rudimentary training that you received in the academy?
Rudimentary.
Probably, I would not. Yes, okay, probably. If
You don't have any training in crash reconstruction or anything like that, correct?
that is correct.
Not like.
And am I correct in you indicated that you're board certified in emergency medicine? Is that right?
That's correct.
And so you're not board certified in forensic pathology or anatomical pathology or any kind of pathology?
That's correct.
And the last time that you worked as a coroner, when was that?
Last time was in 1995 when I was doing autopsies for the.
In which either Mr. Jackson or Attorney Little were counsel.
Not that I'm aware of. No.
No. So basically,
And when was it that you first were contacted in reference to this case?
The first contact was May 15th.
May 15th.
And by the way, like the fact that, like, why didn't the defense ask? I don't understand why they didn't ask Wiffin and Jessica Hyde that. Like, who contacted you when?
May 17th, excuse me, of this year, 2024. Yes.
And you went through a list of things that you were provided and you reviewed and you mentioned the toxicology report. Is that correct?
Yes.
And I think you also remembered some photos of some clothing items. Is that correct as well?
Yes, a shirt. And
Anything else?
No.
Were you told of any other material that was available for your review that you weren't then given?
Well, I requested that
What stupid questions?
And so, did you make any specific requests as to what material you were provided, or were you just handed some material or forwarded some material and you looked at what you were given?
No, I requested that I have the autopsy photographs, the ER records, the ER photographs. I requested those.
Now, you mentioned some articles that you had written that were published back in 1996 and 1997 related to dog bites. Is that right?
Yes.
Are those publicly available articles?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
in those articles that you wrote, you were talking about law enforcement bites, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
So law enforcement canine bites typically involve what we call sort of a bite and hold technique. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes.
Dog.
Well, yes. Now, the study, one of those studies was over 700 dog bite wounds, and there were two techniques used at that time: bite and hold, and later on, bark and hold, or bark and alert, or something of that nature.
700 dog bites.
So there are different techniques.
700.
But yes, to specifically answer that question, which was, are they generally different from regular domestic dog bites? Yes.
Now, did you write a report in regard to your opinion that you testified to here today?
No.
Why not?
I don't think there was much time, and I didn't know if I was going to be actually testifying.
How long would it take you to write a report?
I wasn't asked to write a report. Excuse me.
Were you asked specifically not to write a report?
No.
No. So like, what
Now,
kind
at
of
any point in
stupid
time,
question?
did you ever look at anything related to Ms. O'Keefe's head injury?
Oh yes.
So you reviewed reports in relation to that, correct?
Yes.
Do you have any opinions as it pertains to that?
Yeah, you got
I would rather
head.
defer to the pathologist and neuropathologist on that.
So who contacted you about this case?
Who cares?
I contacted a district attorney that I had worked with in the past.
Okay.
We were discussing a different case, a case that I autopsied in 1995, and I mentioned that I heard that there was a case in Massachusetts that might have been being handled by one of his colleagues, his former colleagues, and that there was an issue of whether something was a dog bite, and that I might be able to help in that case to clarify.
And so when you
she saw
were provided this
she
material,
saw it probably on Turtle Boy, and she's just like, oh, that's a dog bite. I'd be happy to testify. So she reaches out to a colleague who puts her in touch with Alan Jackson. Case closed.
what is it that you were specifically asked to do?
To look at the wounds and the reports and the materials that were sent to me and render an opinion.
And so before you had even been provided any material, before you had even looked at anything, you had already heard information related to there being a dog bite involved in this case, correct?
I had heard that there was a controversy, that some certain wounds could have been a dog bite versus perhaps inflicted by a motor vehicle. That's what I had heard.
So what I'm really trying to get at, Doctor, is sort of the timeline. Okay, so you hear about this. When was that?
Sometime just before May 17th.
Oh, it was the Boston.
Sometime just prior to that, you hear about some controversy in a case in Massachusetts involving a dog bite. On May 17th, you would get reached out to by who specifically?
His name is John Lewin. He's an attorney in the LA District Attorney's Office.
And then who did you talk to after that?
I reached out to him. I said I might be able to clarify. And then he reached out to Mr. Jackson, I believe, and then Mr. Jackson contacted me.
And I'm not asking specifically anything you spoke about, but at some point, the discussion came specifically to documents, correct?
He sent me the materials. He asked me my opinion.
Yeah.
Orally, how was that filed?
Orally.
Yeah.
Write any of that down?
No.
Yeah. Ooh. Okay.
That the decedent was found outdoors, I believe in the snow and hypothermic.
Now, in regard to what you reviewed, you didn't review any investigative reports, is that correct?
No.
That is correct.
You didn't review any witness statements, is that correct?
Oh my God.
That's correct.
You didn't review any lab reports as far
Like
as
you didn't
from
review,
the
like
forensic lab?
Lally really says that. Like, are you an expert? Did you even hear what Jen McCabe said? Like, did he really just said that? You didn't review any witness statements, did you? You didn't hear what Jen McCabe said? Jen McCabe said that she said, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him. You didn't hear what Katie McLaughlin said? Oh my God. Are you even expert? Did you even hear what Matt McCabe said? He was looking out the window. He didn't see anything. There's a Jeep. Yeah. Did you even read it? Like what? No, I just looked at the fucking arm and I'm like, those are dog bites because this is what I do. I'm a dog bite lady. This is my thing.
Or anything like that?
I reviewed the toxicology report.
Beyond that, any other?
If it was part of the autopsy report, I reviewed it.
You reviewed everything attendant to the medical examiner's file, is that correct?
Yes.
No, right. It's
Nothing
like,
from the lab beyond
it's
that?
like, is this guy serious?
I don't believe I did.
Now, this first instance, when you say you heard about it, how did you hear about it?
Well, I believe it was via a headline that I received in my email from the Boston Globe. Or, you know,
Oh, it was
just,
the Boston Globe.
a few days before.
I'm going to allow it.
I have nothing further.
I said
Hold
now.
that opinion.
Yes.
Right.
These injuries in the arm are, my opinion is that they are the result of animal bites or scratches.
Do you know what kind of animal?
Oh, yes, most likely dog. Lots of
Yes,
dog.
dog.
And I'm very very sure to, you know, that's the word I want. Medical certainty. Very
All right, so that this
high degree of medical certainty.
reasonable degree of medical certainty.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, and another question. So I received information that you also viewed all reports associated with Chloe, a dog's prior bite history. Did you review those?
No, I don't recall ever seeing anything like that.
You also reviewed the UC Davis DNA testing results submission forms?
No, I don't recall seeing them.
Okay, any follow-up, any questions based on my questions?
No, I didn't see those.
Not for the combo, no.
No.
Right, you are all set, doctor. I don't know yet whether you'll be testifying. Okay, well, we'll try and let you know. You're going to be around for a few days?
No.
Okay, we'll let you know as soon as we can, okay?
Okay. All right, thank you.
You're going to be around for a few days. We'll let you know as soon as we can. We'll let you know. Like she'll, like Auntie Bev, like some county hack judge. Doctor, we'll let you know if we need your expertise. We got Nicholas Carino over here. He went to Westfield State. And we got this other guy, Joseph Paul. He went to community college. And this other guy, Wiffin, have you heard his accent? He's very charming. He's very charming. He's selling an app. Just shut up and let him sell a stupid app. All right. And then, I mean, the arrogance of these people. And then they called the next.
And Mr. Yannetti, I asked you the other day whether she reached out to you or you reached out to her, and you said there was an intermediary. But
who cares?
Can't elucidate about this has said those injuries come from a tail light, including Mr. Paul yesterday. We have contrary evidence in this.
Yeah.
That's what was said to her. Everything that's in the disclosure is what was said. To report satisfaction. I don't think it's going to take long to figure out that they're extraordinarily qualified.
Yeah.
To give their opinions. But I don't think it's incumbent on me to walk through their entire testimony.
Now, Dr. Wolf. This guy was impressive. This guy's impressive.
I am the director of accident reconstruction at a company known as 𝗪𝗏, 𝗪𝗏.
And tell us a little bit about 𝗪𝗏. If you could explain to the court what 𝗪𝗏 is and what its primary mission is.
So 𝗪𝗏 is a forensic consulting engineering company. We have a variety of disciplines that include biomechanics, failure analysis, human factors, premise liability, crashworthiness, and accident reconstruction.
You said that you were the director of accident reconstruction, correct?
That is correct.
Is that a specialty of 𝗪𝗏 specifically?
Yes, sir.
And what sort of contracts does 𝗪𝗏 routinely engage in?
We typically work for law firms, insurance carriers.
Entities or agencies, sporting agencies.
Certainly, yes. We've bender collisions. I've dealt with collisions that involve 60-car pileups on a highway. So again, accident reconstruction in terms of the scope for a case, it can really vary case to case depending on the facts and circumstances of that case.
And when you say dealt with, are you talking about literally going into, from an engineering and a scientific standpoint, trying to reconstruct what happened, what the causal effects were of that accident, and what the results were, the resulting damage or injuries were?
Absolutely.
What about human factors? What does that discipline entail? What is human factors?
Well, to give you an example of that, so I do a lot of nighttime visibility work where, for instance, let's say a pedestrian's coming onto the roadway at night. Maybe it's not a lit roadway and you're relying on your vehicle headlights to illuminate that pedestrian. So it's determining when would a driver recognize that individual on the roadway based upon the headlights, if there is any artificial lighting.
So this guy works for 𝗺𝗂𝗄. 𝗺𝗂𝗄 was contracted by the FBI as part of their investigation into the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office and the State Police and their botched investigation of the John O'Keefe case. And they determined, this is one of the guys who determined that he was not hit by a car. And what does he do? He's got a PhD and he does accident reconstruction. That's his thing. So this is literally what he does for a living. And he's unbiased. He's not some hired gun of the defense. He's the hired gun of the FBI. Like they're going to get they have unlimited resources. They're going to get the best. That's this guy. That's Dr. Wolf.
Clothing. And then we look at how do drivers respond based upon that scenario. Subsequent to my undergraduate degree, I then went on to the University of Delaware to pursue my PhD in electrical and computer engineering with a concentration in electromagnetics and photonics.
You've been games, correct?
Yes, sir.
Are you trained in Bosch crash data retrieval analysis?
Yes, sir.
Otherwise known as CDR analysis, right?
Yes.
Correct.
In terms of professional associations and accreditations, are you certified by the Society of Automotive Engineers?
Yes, I'm a member of that organization.
What about being a member of Optical Society of America?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Illuminating Engineering Society?
Yes, sir.
And finally, the National Association of Peer-Reviewed Article known as Collision, the International Compendium for Crash Research.
Yes, he's very qualified.
Hired you and commissioned you, or 𝗺𝗂𝗄. That have anything to do with the defense?
No, sir.
That have anything to do with the Commonwealth?
No, sir.
So a third-party agency hired you and commissioned you, or 𝗺𝗂𝗄, with responsibility
They can't say FBI, a third-party agency.
of doing an accident reconstruction in this case, correct?
Correct.
The person to my left is a female. To my left, sitting here. You ever seen her before?
Nope.
You know who she is?
Yes.
How many times have you been qualified in other courts to testify as an expert in the area of accident reconstruction?
I think it's around 20 times to date.
In both federal and state court?
Just state court.
Multiple states?
Yes, sir.
So he does this for a living. He
Your analysis,
testifies.
conclusions, and opinions are completely independent, whatever they are. Those analysis, conclusions, and opinions in this case are completely independent of the defense and of the Commonwealth. Have I got that right?
It's based on the evidence. That's correct.
And
correct.
Who at 𝗺𝗂𝗄 was assigned to the team who ultimately would undertake that analysis?
So it was myself, Dr. Andrew Rentschler, and Scott Klein.
Scott Klein has a Master of Science, is that right?
I believe he's got a Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering, yes.
In engineering?
Correct.
All right. And Dr. Rentschler is a PhD in what area?
Biomechanical Engineering.
Were you provided and did you review certain materials in furtherance of your consultation in this matter?
Yes, sir.
I can have just a moment, Your Honor.
Yes.
You reviewed. Recognize that. Were provided by this other agency to review in terms of coming to your opinions and conclusions concerning this case.
Yes, sir.
May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
So anyway, this guy's a genius. He knows it all, right? He's a reconstruction expert. It's great. Now let's get to the part where Lally tries to like one up him. I mean, it's just imagine Lally is the guy like tasked with like proving that you're not as smart as you think you are.
Is that fair to say?
Dr. Rentschler, yes.
And again, that was based on Dr. Rentschler's work. Is that correct? So you testified about some other areas of expertise as far as human factors, visibility, luminescence, things like that. You didn't do any of those things here, correct?
No.
Wasn't part of my scope in this case.
No, idiot.
And the scope in your case, you indicate that it was based on the evidence, correct?
That is correct.
Now, to be fair, that's based on the evidence that you were provided, correct?
Oh,
correct.
The evidence you were provided. What evidence was that? Like this, here's a picture of the guy that got run over. Here's the car. Like what? Here's what?
So what did Mr. Klein do?
So as part of the engagement with the entity that ultimately retained us in this, due to the confidentiality of it, only those who had access to the material to the file were allowed to review it and discuss it. And essentially, Scott Klein served as kind of another reconstruction expert to essentially bounce ideas off
Girls
of
love
and help
this
with the
guy,
review.
huh? They love this guy.
So for lack of a better term, sort of provided, let's say, sort of technical review of your work and Dr. Rentschler's report in relation to what you did, correct? Conclusions, opinions, or otherwise, in relation to the motor vehicle damage, those are your opinions, those are your conclusions, correct?
I would say that's fair, yes.
And again, based on the evidence that you were provided, correct?
Correct.
And so the facts or evidence or conclusions or opinions related to injuries to Mr. O'Keefe, that was Dr. or Mr. Rentschler's area, is that fair to say?
Dr. Rentschler, yes.
And again, that was based on the evidence or whatever he was provided, correct?
Correct.
Which would be the same materials that you had tested.
Oh my God.
So the agency that retained us gave us a selected quantity of file material related to this case, and essentially left it as an open-ended question. Ultimately, was the evidence consistent with a pedestrian interaction between Mr. John O'Keefe and the Lexus?
Okay, you said selected quantity of information. Who selected that information?
Who cares? I mean, this woman.
As far as I'm concerned, it would be the Department of Justice and the FBI.
All right, and they just gave you what they wanted to give you, as far as you know.
We had no say in what material was handed over to us.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Any questions based on my questions?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Lally?
Just briefly.
Oh yeah, he's got questions.
That you were asked specifically whether or not the evidence, the limited scope that you were provided was consistent with a pedestrian collision. Were you asked sort of in general terms as far as any type of pedestrian collision, or were you asked specifically as far as biomechanically could say the injury to the back of the skull?
All right, so we get it. So basically, he's the stupid question.
That have been caused by contact with the vehicle. How open-ended was this question?
Again, I think it relates to, is the vehicle damage consistent with the pedestrian impact, and are the injuries consistent with the pedestrian?
Okay.
Biomechanical engineers
Here's
such as
our
myself,
third guy. Here's our
accident
third guy.
reconstructionists, mechanical engineers, we look at crash worthiness, safety of vehicles, and other types of events. So we really do all types of work. We do litigation type work as well, in what direction or manner to get a specific injury, whether it's a skull fracture, an intervertebral disc injury, a concussion. So we look at the, I always say that we kind of approach injuries from two different directions.
I mean, just imagine comparing these two guys to Joseph Paul. They are trying so hard to keep these two geniuses with PhDs who present well, who are good enough to be hired by the FBI. Joseph Paul's not. They do not want the jury to hear from these people because there is no way the jury would ever believe that goober, Joseph Paul, over these distinguished gentlemen. Stop it. Stop it.
You have an injury occur. After it occurs, moving forward, that's when the medical doctors get involved. They diagnose the injury, determine the best way to treat it. What's the prognosis? As a biomechanical engineer, I kind of take the reverse direction. We look at, here's the injury, here's what's diagnosed. Well, how did that injury occur?
Yes.
You know, how much force do you have to apply to cause that fracture? How did the bone have to be loaded? How did it bend to actually cause a specific type of fracture? So we really kind of approach the injury from two different directions.
So this guy does the injuries. The other guy does the accident reconstruction.
And given that scientific approach, oftentimes you come to conclusions and opinions, scientific conclusions and opinions about the causation of it, correct?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean,
Whereas Joseph Paul gets up there and he's just like, it just did. Yeah. So it just, I think it is what I think happened, and put his arm out and got hit. It's just like, what? And this guy's like, this is literally what I fucking do for a living, is injury causation. Oh my God.
ultimately, that's what biomechanical engineering is how does an injury occur? Why did it occur? And what type of setting did the injury actually occur? What type of loading and what type of kinematics do you need to have this injury actually occur?
Can you tell the court a brief synopsis on the discipline of human factors? What part does that play in what you do for a living?
It's to ultimately look at injury causation.
Doctor, as the director of biomechanics,
engineers, as well as the Society for Automotive Engineering. Now, with respect to biomechanical engineering, there's no actual professional response in the strength of the different parts of tissue of the human body. On a very basic level, to get an injury or have an injury occur, you need really two factors. You need enough force to cause injury to the tissue, and you need that force applied in the right manner. So if I wanted to fracture my elbow, I certainly couldn't take a hit on my shoulder and expect my elbow to fracture. Its force is exerted in the wrong location. And likewise, if I just lean my elbow on the counter here, that's not enough force. So you need the force and you need the application of that force in the correct manner to produce what we call an injury mechanism.
and have you ever participated in any studies or research in this area? In addition to your dissertation, getting your PhD, what about additional studies and research in this general area?
I have, yes, sir.
Can you describe that for me?
Certainly. Well, just at ARCA, I've worked with the United States military. We worked on a design of the MRAP vehicles, the mine-resistant ambush-protected vehicles over in Iraq and Afghanistan.
The military.
That's correct, yes. And the issue there is they go over the IED, the improvised explosive device, and it blows the vehicle off the ground. So you're getting very large forces and accelerations through the vehicle, through the seat, and through the soldier spines. So we're seeing very traumatic and severe spinal and head injuries. So at ARCA, we work on what we call an energy-absorbing seat design. So when the vehicle gets blown off the ground, that seat is designed to absorb the force and the energy to protect the soldier's spine and the head.
Did you take part in the design of that seat?
I did, yes, sir.
Has that been employed by the Department of Defense?
Yes, it has been.
And our troops utilizing that new seat design, that safe seat design in that troop carrier to this day?
As far as I know, it's from what they'll tell us.
The troops trust this guy.
Are you also published in this field, Doctor?
I am, yes.
Of course
with the NHL, actually, at ARCA. We have an ongoing, we have an ongoing relationship with
the
the Department of Player
hit.
Safety. For instance, we helped redesign part of the rink in every arena. They had at the end of the player area, there was basically a 90-degree stanchion where the glass met. And so players were kind of getting checked down in the boards and then hitting up against the glass. And actually, somewhat ironically, it was 𝗵𝗂𝗆 hitting 𝗵𝗂𝗏 into the glass in the Boston-Montreal game and caused a cervical fracture and concussion. And the NHL came to us to see if we could have...
You guys remember that in like 2010, 11? 𝗵𝗂𝗆 hit 𝗵𝗂𝗏, little bitch, little shit started, Montreal Canadiens, into the boards. And it was in Montreal. It gave him like concussions, I guess, or something. He said he couldn't go to movie theaters and like watch movies or whatever. He's a little whiny little bitch. And there were Montreal fans literally calling the cops on 𝗵𝗂𝗆. Like that happened. A whole bunch of them called the cops on 𝗵𝗂𝗆. And this guy came in to fix it. This guy came in to fix the problem.
A redesign of the ring to make it a little safer. So we took crash test dummies, the anthropomorphic test device, which you've probably seen on TV. The automotive manufacturers use them all the time, and threw them into different configurations of glass. And now in every arena in the NHL, it is basically a curved piece of spring-loaded Lexan or plexiglass, where the players now
Max
they get into it,
Pacioretty
absorbs the impact, and they
doesn't get
glance
to
off the
whine
glass.
about Chara is being mean
is,
to
yes.
me.
So both from the United States military as well as professional sporting leagues, they've come to you to help save lives over risk.
That's right, mitigate and prevent injuries. Yes, sir.
What about crash and sled testing?
Yeah, I've performed a number of crash and
Name
sled
it,
tests.
Alan. He's got
when
it
you
all.
look at any vehicle that's driven in the United States, it has to pass federal motor vehicle safety.
Testing or published in the field of auto pedestrian.
Yeah, he's
As we look at it, there is a lot of people fall, especially elderly people. So we want to look at what type. That's correct. Yes, sir.
Let me just ask it this way: how many times do you think you've been qualified as an expert in the field or testified as an expert in the field of biomechanics, engineering, and manufacturing?
I've testified probably over 150 times in
150
numerous
times.
state, federal, civil, and criminal courts throughout the country.
So 150 judges have found this guy worthy to testify. But now Auntie Bev, who's so fucking special, is just so smart. Some chick from Norwood with a bad, who looks like Miss Piggy, is going to get up here and decide that.
I'm sorry, Mayor Roach.
Yes.
31st, I testified in McKean County, Pennsylvania. For the prosecution, it was a case where the defendant was accused of beating his girlfriend to death and basically said that she fell down the steps. So my testimony involved determining how her injuries occurred and that they were entirely inconsistent with what would have happened during a stair fall.
What about that case?
And then about a week after that, around June 6th or 7th, I testified in Cambria County, Pennsylvania, again for the prosecution for another homicide case where the defendant was accused of essentially beating his wife to death and then said that she actually fell backwards and struck her head, caused a skull fracture on the side of the sink. So my testimony, again, pertained to looking at the injury mechanisms and determining that his story of her falling back and striking her head on the sink is inconsistent with the injuries and the type of force that would have been exerted in that case.
Right.
In both of those murder cases, you were hired or retained by the prosecution in the case, not the defense.
Right.
That's correct, yes, sir.
Your opinions in furtherance of the prosecution's case in chief, not the defense case in chief. Right?
That's correct, yes.
Right. It's just like, so you hire work for prosecutions to put people away. Okay, cool. So this is not normally, you don't normally defend murder defendants. Okay, cool. Thank you.
With regard to this case, you were asked to look at several items. We've already gone over those in the other testimony, so I won't belabor that. You were asked to look at several items, correct?
See if I could determine what happened, how the injuries occurred, and the events leading up to and during that process.
Without going into your conclusions and opinions, were you able to come to conclusions and opinions to a reasonable degree of science concerns?
I was, yes, sir.
You were not hired by the defense, by me, or anybody on the defense side in this
No,
case, correct?
That's correct, I was not.
You were not consulted with or hired by the Commonwealth either.
That's correct, I was not.
It was a completely independent agency, is that right?
That is correct, yes, sir.
Before this morning, have you and I heard that?
I did, yes, sir.
And your understanding is that report was made available both to the
Okay. So now it's Lally's turn.
Just a few questions, please. I mean, you could discuss what you did.
Well, yeah, I mean, certainly we just discussed with who we were retained by in this case. I don't believe.
By the way, look at Reddington there. Reddington was just in court. Reddington is working right now. I sat and watched him the other day. He's working a human trafficking case in the main courtroom. I sit in there during the break sometimes to watch it because I find it interesting. He's representing a guy who's being charged with human trafficking. So he just wanted to come in and watch. He's enjoying the show like all of us.
If I discussed the case with anybody else except for my cohorts who were also involved in the case.
And so my question, sir, more is geared towards, at some point you were made aware that your report and your findings were made available to both the prosecution and the defense in this case, correct?
I was made aware of that, yes, sir.
And when you were made aware of that, was there any limitations on given to you as far as who you could discuss your report, your findings, or anything with?
Basically given the direction or the request that I don't actually discuss the substance of my opinions or my report with anybody aside from who we were originally retained.
Can I ask you the firm were provided with in reference to what you did in this case?
I believe it was, yes, sir.
So nothing beyond that list of 14 things did you have occasion to look at?
I want to see Auntie
or
Bev
any
question.
opportunity to see at any time?
Well, aside from we did do testing in this case, so we did do other. That was one of the questions.
Test to do specifically.
So specifically overall, I was tasked from the biomechanical standpoint to determine or see if it's possible to determine how the injuries in this case occurred. And part of that was to determine whether the injuries, the head injury and the arm injuries resulted from contact with a Lexus in this case.
Yeah.
Okay. And regarding all of your prior testimony, a good deal of it seems to be in depositions. Any of those in Massachusetts?
There's a couple, I believe. I testified at trial in Massachusetts, Middlesex Superior Court.
Do you know where that might be? I do want to look at that.
I can find it.
I do want to look at that. Why?
Is it in a criminal case or a civil case?
I want to look at that. Is he not impressive enough, Deb? It's getting late. Bev, whatever. Is he not? I apologize to Deb Z. Is he not impressive enough for you, Bev?
Oh, it was in civil cases.
Okay.
I think, let's see here. I think, yeah. So let's see. There was one November 14th, 15th, 2023, Middlesex Superior Court. That was probably the most recent one.
Okay, what number is that on there if I want to back and look at it?
That is number 310.
Thank you. Is there another Massachusetts case?
Oh, I'm sure there are because
Worcester.
Worcester.
Is that a civil or criminal case, doctor?
That is a civil case as well.
I appreciate you saying this.
Was a date as far as when it was filed, when it was opinion was rendered, when that was provided, more of an area of forensic.
That was more just, I didn't, that's not, Super Paul's opinion is that his injury or his injuries, or I think he said variously that it was blunt force could have come from the curb or it was blunt force because the road was blunt. That was his opinion and he was sticking to it. This is contrary to that.
I initially didn't think of it in these terms as it's phrased on the cover page of the.
So anyway, I do want to play real quick. It's getting late. I know it's getting a little bit late, but let me just pull this up real quick. I wanted to play a couple clips here. One from Emily D. Baker's reaction to this. Let me pull it up. Going on, she goes off on Lally, and it's great. I think we should watch this. She roasts Adam Lally, and I'm here for that always. While he voir dired this guy.
Things did you have occasion to look at, review, or have any opportunity to see at any time?
Well, aside from we did do testing in this case, so we did do other
Aside
work.
from your independent testing, I'm asking as far as material provided by whoever employed you. That is
Lally. This witness is eminently likable.
Yes.
More likable than a lot of engineer witnesses. He is personable. He speaks at a level that is understandable without being condescending. This is a very likable witness. If you have not already pissed off this jury with what, if anything, sort of where did you sit in the bleachers at the fucking Canton basketball game, going after this witness is danger because you are going to piss off the jurors who just are there to find the facts. And I imagine that what they would like more than anything, because that's what I see from 40,000 people day in and day out, is they would like to understand what the fuck happened to John O'Keefe. Not what Jen McCabe did on her phone, but what happened to John O'Keefe and investigation did to solve it. Everybody just wants some answers.
Yeah.
And if you start snipping at the witness who is there to provide some clear testimony, it is going to turn out badly for you. This is not the one. This is not the one for an aggressive cross. This is the one for a minimally aggressive cross because he is likable, qualified, and neutral.
the sum and total of what you received, correct?
Exactly. What a rant that was. That was a great rant. So that it's so true. It's just like, dude, you put these people through all this and they finally got an expert who like wants to talk about this, and you're going to go after this fucking guy. You know what that's going to make you look like, dude? Stop it. All right. Last one here. I'm told this is a good Coffindaffer insanity rant to laugh off the end of the night here. It's been a long show. I know. So we got some yellow cottage fails here. Always good to laugh at because, again, like I said, it's really important that we point and laugh at these people. Whatever you're doing to mock them, I assure you it's not enough. It is not enough. They deserve nothing but your ridicule.
No, doesn't have a good, because someone else is going to later on. So what you get is that gotcha moment where you start to kind of impeach the witness and make it look like they don't know what they're talking about. He started to do that with the injuries, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it's way too expansive for what this person's knowledge is about. And in terms of the cell phone, you know, to me, it's blatantly obvious he had his cell phone in his back pocket, and that's why it landed there. This is not difficult, but here you have your crash.
Screaming that.
Oh, were you? I've been screaming it from the beginning. His cell phone was in his pocket. He had two glasses in his hands. He grabbed one out of the car. We'll see if there's any evidence that comes out, but I'm just using a logical theory here that maybe he said, you've had enough to drink, or she said, get it out of my car because it had alcohol in it and she's driving drunk already and she's going to continue to drive, and he grabbed the glass out. I really think that is what happened. And he was standing there double fisted with two glasses in his hand, cell phone in the pocket, she gets pissed and backs into him, and he, flies backwards.
I would just push back on that a little bit with the second glass because I don't know where a second glass would have come from. They're both on CCTV, leaving the bar. He's the only one that leaves a glass. I would say that I would still believe that it would be in his back pocket because I know, like, when I watch, I don't know if this is a guy thing or a New England guy thing with like a blue collar thing, but like when my husband gets up, stands up or whatever, he just sort of
You really just say husband? My husband? She's not married. She's not married. Again, what if I had time to all my new viewers? You're listening to this woman. Her name is 𝗃𝗃𝗃, aka Krusty Panties. She has a live-in boyfriend by the name of Andrew Johnson, who is a drug-addicted, abusive piece of shit. In September of 2021, he was arrested for pulling a knife on her then 14-year-old daughter. He pulled a knife on her. Kate refused to let her testify against him, and the charges were dropped. He was charged with assault and battery with a dangerous weapon on a minor. She didn't make a move out. She didn't even get a restraining order on him. Then 3 months later, she got allegedly punched in the face by Andrew Johnson again in front of her then 13-year-old son. Both her son and her daughter have been in and out of foster care their entire lives. They're the unlucky ones. She had two younger kids named Wade and Hunter, who she neglected and abused for the first couple of years of their poor, horrible existence of a life, until DCF finally saved them and forced them to be adopted out to a family in Attleboro. There's an article about it in this Attleboro Sun Chronicle that you can read today. She permanently lost custody of two of her youngest kids. The two that were left over were in and out of foster care their entire lives. And again, I've done videos on this. Maybe I'll do it again since the audience is bigger and this woman has become like the de facto. She goes on here and makes herself like some sort of expert on this. She abuses her children. And she allows this abusive man, Andrew Johnson, still lives in her home, still lives there. She calls him her husband. They're not married. She's never been married to anyone. I know she was married to a guy named Stephen Young, who allegedly kicked the shit out of her, and he died recently. And she refused to divorce him for years. And now, anyway, long story short, I can't believe she just called this dude her husband. My husband, dude. And she's obsessed with me, seeks out everybody especially women, any woman I've ever been with, she seeks them out immediately. She became best friends with the fake victim. I think I needed to do a video on her. Since the audience is bigger, I think we really need to do an expose. Since people like Coffindaffer want to associate with Catherine Peter, aka Krusty Panties, I think it's time to do a deep dive for newer members into exactly who this child abusing piece of shit is. That's what she is. And by the way, she's currently being charged with felony witness intimidation against me. She threatened several times to have me assaulted by men if I ever showed up to a court date against her. And I did. And then I showed up and I was assaulted on January 6, 2023 at one of her court dates because she is being charged with violating a harassment prevention order against a woman named Lauren Murray, who I used to, we're friends now. We used to be a thing, and great girl, awesome person. Kate became obsessed with her over that. And Kate started posting her address and sending people to her house. And long story short, and posting pictures of her and harassing her. And the girl got an order on her. And Kate violated that order within 2 days and was charged for it. 2 days. That's all it took to. And so I went to one of her hearings for this. And she said, if you show up, there's going to be men with me and they're going to assault you. So I showed up and I was assaulted on the courthouse steps. We're going to do a deep dive into Kate Peter one of these days for the new people. And she is just obsessed with me. Like, she is so obsessed with the women anyone I've dated, anybody I've been with, you know what I mean? Like, just goes into them. Like, she didn't know Lauren Murray. She had nothing to do with Lauren Murray. And she got an order against her on Lauren Murray. And then she violated it. And she was charged. And then she took a quaff. And then a month later, she got charged again with violating the order against Lauren Murray. And then, so she's still dealing with that. She's currently being charged with felony witness intimidation against me. Felony witness intimidation against me. And she has an order out against her. And twice she has tried to get orders on me and failed, including most recently when she had her 16-year-old daughter message me and make sexual comments about my then 7-year-old daughter. And it's something about sucking dick on the playground. She's 7. And the things that this girl said, this horrid 16-year-old girl who Kate Peter got to contact me and make sexual comments about my children. And when we responded and we were like, you don't need to talk like this. This is horrible. Your mother should not be putting you up to this. Kate then forced her daughter to go to the courthouse and apply for an order against me. And not only did she lose it, but in the hearing, we have the audio. The judge said, quote, "This one's not even close. If anything, the victim is the defendant. The plaintiff is the aggressor." That's what Judge Mathers said in Attleboro District Court last March. And then I start writing about this Canton story, and it's, getting a lot of attention, but because she's so obsessed with me and she cannot let me go, she had to get involved in this. And she took the side of the McAlberts simply because I was taking the side of Karen Reed. Had I said Karen Reed was guilty, she would have defended Karen Reed. Like obsessed. Just a fucking lunatic. A lunatic. And she worked for me 4 years ago. And then I found out she was stealing money from me. So I fired her. We went our separate ways. And then I found out after that about her horrid past of domestic abuse of her own children. I had no idea that she lost 2 of her kids permanently to the state. None. And now she has teamed up with the fake victim, and they have a lot in common. It makes sense. They're both psychopaths. They're both obsessed with me. The weird part is Kate hasn't even slept with me. Like, we've never been a thing. Like, you should. That's what the judge asked her. Why are you so obsessed with this man's sex life? You weren't even intimate with him. Why the fuck do you care who he's fucking? What do you care? It's insane. She wanted to be Turtle Boy when she was on air, and she wanted to use me for the platform to start her own thing, but she's not very talented. As you can see, her entire platform is just about me. Like, the whole thing is about me. And I've wanted nothing to do with her. And the only reason she's on with, Jennifer Coffindaffer is associating with her. And I want Jennifer Coffindaffer to know that. Jennifer Coffindaffer, your association with Catherine Peter shows that you support child abuse, because that was what Kate Peter is only associated with, is child abuse. She lost 2 of her youngest children, the 2 youngest ones, due to abuse. She is friends with the fake victim, who has also lost her children to DCF sporadically throughout the years. Sporadically. And only recently got them out of her life. She still is an active caseworker. Still. They both have a lot in common. 4 kids, different baby daddies, Fireball. That should have been the red flag when I went over to the fake victim's house, and she had the drink of choice was Fireball. That should have been the red flag right there. But I stayed because I'm addicted to crazy a little bit. You know what I mean? Or I was, not anymore. I was a little addicted to crazy there. But anyway, the fact that Coffindaffer and people like this associated with a child abuser is all it needs to say. Anyway, I got a little off track there. We're going to do a deep dive on her one day for the new followers.
Instinct, puts his phone in his back pocket. I see a lot of male friends too, honestly. It just seems to be a thing to where when you're getting up, you put your phone in that back pocket. So I think that he probably just got out of the car, throws his phone in the back pocket, grabs the glass and starts to leave the vehicle. And then, shortly thereafter is struck. But I don't really think there's any evidence of him having 2 glasses. I think that glass on the bumper is just a perplexing unknown. I don't know what, I haven't really gotten a good look at what the tail light looked like inside the housing. I know that they are LED lights, so it's possible that one of those cracked. They usually tend to be encased in glass, right? Am I wrong? I mean, he did say that there's no, in his opinion, there was nothing from the glass. I'm not sure. I think it's a strange unknown, but I don't think there's any evidence that he would have had 2 drinking glasses.
I don't think he had 2 drinking glasses. So this is my theory. When people go out, they often drink in advance of ever going out. In other words, it's cheaper, right? Or they want a pregame, however you want to state it. They have a glass that they're drinking on their way to the bar. They don't just start drinking on their way to the bar. At least that is what I've seen in so many examples of that. So I think there was a glass in the car, not that he brought, not that she brought, not from any bar, but a glass that would have possibly been in there. I'm just trying to say there is evidence that he had another glass in his hand because it's embedded in that bumper. So it had to have gotten there some way. And that makes a lot of logical sense, especially in their fight. And I'll be interested to see if anything is brought up about that. But it makes a lot of sense to me that he would have grabbed the other glass if she was going to continue to drive and there was any alcohol in there. Again, it's a hypothesis. It's not backed by fact, other than the fact there's the glass there.
Wouldn't they have found that other base of that glass just the way they found the base of the one glass?
Yeah.
Or you're saying that one of the glasses shattered so thoroughly that no
the voice of reason,
significant piece of it was found?
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying it shattered so thoroughly into that bumper that there's no other pieces that were found that matched to that glass. I also want to ask, because did they ever?
I can't even with these people. I can't even. Okay, cool. Let me read some turtle chats. We'll call it a night to end this. All right. We're going to start here with Abby sends $25 and says, I looked into the security model on the town budget record from 2018. The camera is Axis. I specialize in video encoding. It was edited in the camera system. You can create sequences in this app and invert the video without affecting the time code. There's a way to verify the original file for the Sally Port in library. It's edited. Okay. Thank you, Abby. I appreciate that. You should call the defense. They could use that. Crystal sends $5 and says the FBI went so far to hire these badass doctors. They definitely have agents assigned to watching your shows. Well, we'll see. I mean, they did. The FBI does watch my shit. Just look up Mike St. Pierre FBI, and you will see that they actually he's a J6er, and they got him by reading my shit, which I kind of feel bad about because I think that whole thing's a little overrated. Okay. So, have you thought about this possibility and how does it make you feel? It makes me feel honored. Thank you very much. John sends $10 and goes, shocked the NHL didn't cue-ball Paul. Didn't call cue-ball Paul. Free Karen Reed. Thank you. John sends $10 and goes, Lally probably lived in his mom's attic like Plevin, so he doesn't understand to and fro's of relationships. Exactly. Next one is from Slayer sends 10 and goes, it's good to see some of the Rizzotanos are dealing in reality. A few friends of mine know John's cousin, Angie, and apparently she's really into Karen. Yeah, she sucks to the point where it seems like she had one of those creepy cousin crushes on John. Keep kicking ass. The end is near, and it looks good for Karen. Yes, it does, Slayer. Laura sends $50 and goes, oh, come on. The article, maybe 10 years ago, stolen car, police case with Canton, down. Thank you. 1. Yes, Laura. I mean, I would just, you can Google it. It'll come up if I wrote about it. Thank you. Nick Rocco sends $5. Let's see what Nick Rocco has to say. He says, my wife, Jenna Rocco, the bandwagon hopper, is now on the glare trying to hijack his platform. We don't need you. That's not good. I hope, watch out, Will. Just be careful. Be careful. They won the lottery. I don't know if you know that. They won the lottery. So, Jonathan sends $10 and goes, why is Jen McCabe Googling It's Raining Men? Yeah, she said there's some inside joke about her and her sisters. Stupid. Mike Forrester sends $5 and goes, anyone else notice Paul O'Keefe's junk inches away from Karen's face when they focus on Karen's face? They do that a lot, and a lot of people have noticed that in the Justice group. Thank you. Jimmy sends $10 and goes, for the maggots mocking Karen for the terrible medical conditions she suffered, federal HIPAA law, anyone who violates medical privacy for malicious purposes carries a $1.5 million fine. Thank you, Jimmy. LT sends $5, says Garino angrily grabbing the mic and saying, kill me. Oh, I didn't play that part. That was good. Before having to go over an argument, text was priceless. I know. Well, that was awesome. Kill me. Candace sends $5, says, Unc, the thing I noticed about Karen and John's texts is that he's the one saying that they're relying on her to drive them home and that he's not going anywhere in the blizzard. She's staying at Meadows. He wanted her to come there, even though she said she'd stay at her house in the storm. So, of course, when he didn't come home after the bar, she flipped out. Good point. She thought he was ditching her. That's a good point. She came all the way out there. It was kind of his idea. Marissa sends 10 and says, what's your schedule for court? We went last Thursday to meet Rita and cheer for Karen Reed and my daughter, who is 9, brought a book that she got signed by Tom CPU and Rita, but she really wanted to meet Turtle Boy. We'll be back. Yeah, I'll be back tomorrow. I'll be back Thursday and Friday this week, and certainly some days next week as well. Paula sends $20 and goes, happy anniversary, 30 years to Lisa Desmond, at the Dedham Public Library, who held it down with that Christmas tree. We loved my favorite Dedham librarian. Thank you. Misty sends $5 and goes, who the fuck is Roberta Glass? She's talking so much shit about Karen and has no clue what she's talking about. I have no idea. I have no idea who Roberta Glass is. Steven sends $10 and goes, please tell my son Vinny to get the fuck to bed. Go to bed, Vinny. Go to bed, young man. Luca from Malden sends $5 and goes, Nick Rocco should refrain from writing your jock. The guy wants to be you so bad. He probably sleeps in turtle pajamas. Stop it, as Nick would say on Jammin' 94.5. Stop it, as you would say. And notice how he always gets the seat in the back row. Notice that? The back row at the end, because that one always gets on camera. And most people look ahead. But Nick always looks at the camera, doesn't he? Doesn't he? But he's famous now, so that's just me. Anyway, it's his page now. He's running the show. I'm the sideshow. I'm no Nick Rocco. Anyway, thank you, Luca from Malden. Blanca sends, oh no, we already got that one. Okay, cool. All right, any cash apps to read here? Okay. Alyssa sends $30 and says, why don't they recreate the search warrant without the 2 a.m. test? I don't get that, but okay. Thank you, Alyssa. I appreciate that. Alex sends $20 and goes, Carl Dougal is a cuck. Yes, and he's not allowed in the courthouse. Correct. Thank you, Alex. No doubt. You know he's a cuck. You know he's a cuck. But who would want to? The only thing worse than banging Jackie Dougal is watching somebody else do it. Am I right? Oh, gross. Carrie sends $20 and goes, what happened to the search bar on your website? I need to get that back. I did. We need to get that back. I got to fix that. Thanks, Carrie. Lizzie sends $5 and goes, I want to send you a pic. Think I seen Chloe on Chapman. Probably not, but thank you, Lizzie. Lori sends $10, has no comment. Thank you, Lori. Jamie sends $7 and says, have you seen Jay Megan's TikTok of Brian Higgins in the Sallyport? No, I haven't. Thank you, Jamie. Audrey sends $5 and says, I love you, Turtle Boy. Free Karen Reed. Thank you, Audrey. You're too kind. Wendy sends $5 and says, Bev is up. Okay, we got that one already. Okay, cool. All right. I'll just refresh my turtle chats if anyone else. It's been a long show. It's 12:21. These shows are getting longer and longer. K-Max sends $25 and goes, Turtle Boy, wrap up the live so I can download the show for my flight home from Dublin. We're going to do that in a minute. Thank you. And Samantha says, wait, did the Roccos flip? No, they did not flip. They did not flip. They're not. I mean, they're still free Karen Reed, 100%. So I'm not knocking them for that. But, you know, they're kind of anti-Turtle Boy, I guess. But anyway, don't forget about me when this is all said and done. You know, Karen's going to be free 2 weeks from today. That's my prediction. Not guilty. And then I got to deal with my issues. So could definitely use your help when we deal with that. Okay. All right, guys. Anybody else? All right. I guess we will call it a night, gentlemen and ladies, and we'll see you guys all. Happy Juneteenth. I celebrate privately. It's going to be hot tomorrow. And we'll see you guys Thursday for Turtle Club at evening and more testimony. We got to get to the medical examiner and Nicholas Garino. It's going to be interesting. Peace, Turtle Riders.